going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick, joined by the household. We have a special household guest with us today, the one and only Deb Chubb. Yay! You probably know Deb for all you Love Island maniacs out there from season 4 of Love Island USA.
And Love Island Games.
And Love Island Games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love Island Games. I have
Third place twice.
Yay!
Third place twice?
Yes.
Pop off, Deb.
Yeah.
Did you get a medal or anything?
I
or?
wish, but I'm like, bronze is the new gold.
Okay, love
Get
that.
it.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Childs would tend to agree with you.
Aww.
Poor Jordan. Anyways, turns out Deb and Sierra are good friends.
Yes, we are.
And so we thought we'd bring Deb in. On?
Both.
She's in studio with us and on the show to give us a little insider baseball on all things Love Island USA. We had the reunion last night. We know it was messy and hardcore. We have yet to be able to watch it yet. It was a super top secret. We didn't unfortunately get a screener the night before, but we do know that Kayla and Aaron are broken up, and Kayla used her time at the reunion to unleash fury on Aaron, which good for Kayla. I feel like she needed to get it out. I feel like she went through it. Unfortunately, and I'm curious to get your take on this, Deb, in a minute, but like it really is. Well, we have Aaron and Rob on this episode later in the episode, and it's our conversation with Aaron post reunion.
Oh,
Yeah,
the day after.
The day after.
Oh,
And it was intense. Like, I don't want to give anything away. I want you guys to listen to the episode, but I wasn't sure if they were going to show up, Rob and Aaron. And at first it was like maybe they're just being reality TV star divas, who knows? But when they showed up, you could tell that they had been through it. I think the intensity and the fanfare and the popularity of this season has run its course, and it's taking on a new life of its own with the cast members. And I think they're down bad.
some
Anyway.
of them are up.
Some of them are up.
Some of them are up. Kayla posted a video of her in a car leaving a venue, and the car was like mob surrounded by fans, like trying to, and she had her window down, and it was like they couldn't get through. I mean, it was like giving Kim Kardashian.
It's wild.
Yeah, the people are demand. We ran into people at we were in New York interviewing.
You ran into people in New York?
Wild.
We were obviously in New York to interview Rob and Aaron, and then we also have Nicole on this week's Going Deeper.
Exciting.
which-
That one's crazy.
That was crazy. If anyone's obviously seen the reunion already, we know that, spoiler alert, Nicole and Kendall are still together.
Well, we'll see after
We'll see.
what happened
I don't
after
know.
our episode with her,
Yeah.
because I think we broke through a lot of.
Nicole, it was a very interesting conversation. I mean, she is clearly someone, without trying to give too much away, someone who's really struggling with what to do with her relationship. I think she clearly cares about the guy, but there has been some things that's happened between them, and some things said and not said, or things left out, that have made it really very difficult for Nicole to try to work through this. And she basically talks all about it with us. And it's quite the episode. She really goes deep, but she also, you could tell there's a lot of consideration for Kendall as much as she can, while struggling, knowing that it seemed like Kendall didn't seem to have much consideration for her.
Oh.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And you'll have to watch.
And you'll have to listen or watch.
I will.
Whichever
I'm excited.
platform you desire. Yeah, it was wild. What was I going to say? Anyways,
We were
no,
talking
we went to dinner prior to an interview,
Okay.
and some wonderful, the hostess were like, "Oh my God, we love the podcast." No, that wasn't her. No, that wasn't.
No,
her.
we were in a baby store.
Yes, that's
We'll
what it
figure
was.
it out.
Thank you.
We'll figure it out.
But that's
we were in
the
a-
same hostess kind of did the same
She had the
thing.
same vibe, yeah. We were in a baby store, and we were the only ones in there, and this girl walked by, and then she opened the door, and she was like, "I saw you guys through the window. Like, I just wanted to say hello." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, hi, how are you?" And she was like, I'm actually been hoping to run into Leah." And we were like, "Oh, sorry."
Good to see
We're like,
you.
"I'm sure you'll find her."
Like everyone who like stopped to say hi and like love the show, whatever, was like, well, we actually really want to run into Love Island people.
Do you know where they are?
Do you know where they are? It was like they literally stopped us to try to get the tea on where they might be able to find Love Island.
Oh
people.
my gosh.
No, I mean, like it's
Crazy.
people are super obsessed and super in love with these people for better and for worse. Fandom is sometimes we need to pump the brakes, guys. Like
There's fandom, and then there's the parasocial relationships where you think you know these people because you're watching them on television, but they are human beings that have their own lives, and you do not know the ins and outs of it from watching 2 months of their life.
And just because they reminded you of your ex-boyfriend who
Yeah.
did you dirty or did you wrong, it doesn't mean that Aaron's your ex-boyfriend.
I really hope that after this episode, people will see and hear just how broken Aaron is and lay the fuck off. Because it's, I mean, like, I think, listen, he's gotten what he deserves, you know, like he's not in his relationship anymore.
And also, if you empathize with Aaron after this episode, that doesn't mean you reach out to Kaylor and say you were too hard on Aaron. And how could you say this? He's sorry, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, they had the right to figure it out, even on a public platform, because it all happened on a public platform. That doesn't give you the right to go in their DMs and in their comments and start, like, telling them they should, like, kill themselves and crazy fucking shit like that, or start just, like, trying to do whatever you can to make them feel terrible about themselves.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
They're figuring it out as they go along as well. Like they're thrown into this hyperactive like situation where they have to go through dating scenarios that they wouldn't usually go through in the real world because everything is in a pressure cooker. And then they come out. We've already seen the show. They haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And then they're getting flooded with things. They're like, where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? It's crazy.
It's the same as like usually you would have like your girlfriends or your group of friends being like, yeah, fuck that guy. And like, go out. It's not the entire like United States going after this person being like, by the way, you cheated, you're awful. And it's like, you don't know them. Like pump the brakes, guys.
I'm assuming there's a lot of people in your shoes, Deb, who find out, quote unquote, find out things that have happened from fans.
Totally.
In the DMs. And and I think that can be such dangerous territory because like they get out of the villa, they go online, they start engaging with their fans, and their fans are like, I can't believe this and this happened. And it's from a fan POV. And it's crazy to think that there are some cast members who will quote unquote get their information from fans. And
That's
what
a
that
great
does
point.
to their perception or perspective of their own experience in the villa. Is that is that accurate? Does that happen a lot?
Totally. It's a great point because you'll read that so much quicker than you will be able to sit down and watch an episode because you're just going through your DMs and you'll see what everybody's saying and you'll be like, this is what they saw. It must be true. Rather than one, believing what actually happened from when you went through it or from what you've seen. But then at the same time, it's like you weren't in Casa. So if you're getting messages about what happened in Casa, you're obviously going to believe the worst because you probably assume the worst regardless.
Well, yeah, in our clickbait society, nothing irritates me more. I see it a lot with like political commentary, but you see it kind of in sports and you see it in pop culture. And someone will give a take on someone. Be like, I think Sierra, blah, 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 blah. And even if it's not even like, let's say it's just, maybe there's a criticism in there. Maybe there's even a compliment in there as well. The headline will be, Nick eviscerates Sierra. And it's like, eviscerates? Holy fucking shit. And then you watch the video and it's just like, I mean, like they had like a critique or something.
Is it coming? Is the evisceration coming?
But
Did I miss it? Wait, go back.
Those are always the fucking headlines.
Yeah.
And like we experience it all the time in this show. Like we obviously talk about Bachelor people, Love is Blind, Love Island USA. We give commentary. We can start every show by saying we don't know these people. We recognize these shows have an edit. Like we're giving commentary and people we've never met. We reserve the right to be wrong, which we always do. And that always seems to fall on deaf ears. And then people will listen to the show. And if you're like, for example, let's say you're a diehard Liv fan or a diehard Leah fan or a Kaylor fan, and we have any type of critique at all, the fan of that person will be like, can you fucking believe what Nick and Natalie and Sierra said to you on the Viall Files? They said the worst fucking shit. And then that person reads it will be like, holy fucking shit, what did they say? And it's like, usually fucking nothing. Or it's one thing followed by a series of compliments, but it's always like those little things. And it's always fascinating and unfortunate, but it's kind of the way it works, that so much of what reality TV stars hear are from the opinions of fans.
Especially in the comments, not even DMs. You'll just post something and then they'll go on and on and on. And then somebody will comment and be like, yeah, did you see that? It's just a
I love
ripple
your dress.
effect.
And by the way, your boyfriend's cheating on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
It's a coldie.
You're so funny. I love you so much. But just so you know, everybody hates you.
Yeah.
Everybody.
What is it
I
like
love
to
you.
have the entire world fucking hate you,
Yeah.
including my dog? Can't stand you.
Like, great. I was having a good day until now.
Yeah. And then everybody says, well, don't look at the comments, try to stay off social media. It's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
It is easier said than done. Anyways, we have more about Love Island to discuss, but we do have to get into household headlines. There's a lot of things to talk about outside of Love Island. Well, we know that Jen sent Jeremy home today, but we are going to break down all things Bachelorette on Thursday's episode of Reality Recap with our special guest, Lauren Gray. We are living in a weird time. It is the online takedown of Blake Lively, and I'm blown away.
It's really crazy. I saw friend of show. Amanda Stanton? Has she ever been on this show?
I don't think she's ever been in the Viall Files.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Amanda Stanton gave a hot take.
Amanda Stanton gave a hot take, and I was like, oh my God, I so agree with this. Me and her have, become pretty good friends because obviously we both had babies around the same time. And
She posted on Instagram?
Yes, she posted on Instagram. And I screenshot it because I was like, this is genius. Someone said, updated opinion about Blake Justin's situation after the interview clips and her PR release. Amanda's response is, I think I have an unpopular opinion on this, but I think people trying to figure out what happened with the cast versus Justin has just turned into the majority hating on Blake. I can understand wishing she spoke more about DV in her interviews, but I don't think it warrants hate. Seeing women seemingly loving an opportunity to hate on another woman is so triggering to me. And yes, I saw the interview and she was definitely not nice and it made me uncomfortable. The one where she was talking to that about, well, your little bump. But I also think it's odd to release an interview from years ago now to say, I don't know what happened on set, but here's an interview of Blake being mean in an interview years ago. But that's completely irrelevant to the situation, so she must be the problem. When she's getting so much hate already. The purpose was to pile on more hate and beat someone when they're already down, and we don't know the context. I also think you could pull up a video or bad moment of just about anyone, but agree it was rude and I can't imagine ever treating an interviewer like that. But if we're trying to figure out what caused the rift in this particular movie, I believe Justin was in the wrong here. And that doesn't mean he's not a good person. But the entire cast, not just Blake, is avoiding him like the plague. These are all very smart, professional women and mothers and men who I don't believe would act that way out of immaturity or pettiness or take sides like they're in high school. He had to have acted in an extreme way for everyone in the entire cast to not like him. And that doesn't mean he isn't a good person. Good people have bad moments too. Just like it doesn't mean Blake has never been mean a day in her life. All those things can be true and exist at the same time. My opinion, and yes, I need to go touch her ass. But like, I think it's so true. I think like
I'm just me clapping for anyone. Sorry about it. That was a real
right.
Really great take, Amanda. I was just like, regardless of what you think, and for those of you who aren't paying attention, and if you're not even paying attention, it's hard to miss. But if you go online, you are seeing what seems to be the online attempt to cancel Blake Lively. Now, I'm not trying to get into discussion whether you can actually cancel Blake Lively. They're billionaires. Hard to cancel a billionaire. But they're trying to cancel her reputation. They're trying to destroy Blake Lively's reputation. Maybe Blake Lively once in a while is a jerk. Maybe Blake Lively needs to apologize from time to time about how she interacts with fans. I know I have to at times, like not all of us are professional, like politicians and extroverts who always are on. But I just find it fascinating or ironic or icky that about a movie about domestic violence where a man versus a woman, you have this on-set drama. We don't really know exactly what's going on, but the internet, and specifically, it seems to be like a lot of women, because a lot of women are watching this show, seem to be jumping at the opportunity to eviscerate the woman in this scenario. And yes, maybe Blake Lively has had a reputation of being a jerk at times and having to apologize. But to Amanda's point, that doesn't explain why everyone's unfollowed Justin. And I've never met Blake Lively. I've met Justin. I've had him on the show. And I'll just say that. And if you've ever read Justin's books, or listen to his podcast, which I have. I guess my opinion is like, if you ever read Justin's book, you would think that the person writing that book, who presents as an ultra ally to women, if you read his stuff or followed his content, the person who wrote that book, you would assume that they would say, maybe I could direct this movie that comes from a place of a perspective of a woman who's being abused by a man, but I don't know if I should. Like that's the vibe of the person who wrote those books that Justin Baldoni wrote. Like, that's the vibe of his content. Like, could have man directed Barbie? Sure. Probably, and he could have sat down and interviewed women and said, "I want to make sure I do this right. I want to make sure I'm writing this from the perspective of women." But like, maybe just a woman should have directed it, like Greta did. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like, and I'm not trying to get into a debate whether Justin should or shouldn't have. It's just more like a guy who presents like Justin presents to the public. You would assume that that person would say, "Wait, why am I the one directing this movie? I could, for sure, I could do a good job, but I don't know if I should be the one to do it." I'm always very skeptical of people who present as flawless, who always say the right things. Blake might be a jerk, but you know who I trust? People who are willing to be jerks in public. You know, people who are willing to get criticism, I guess. Like, I'm not saying that's okay to be a jerk at times. I'm just saying, like, they're just, I trust them more. You know, I do. And about the viral video, the interview that's going around, it's basically a reporter released a video. The video's been up for a while, the interview, but basically this reporter kind of re-released it and said the one interview that made me want to quit being a journalist, and everyone's kind of talked about it. It's where this journalist, you know, before the interview starts, Blake is pregnant, is my understanding.
Blake is 8 months pregnant.
8 months pregnant.
And so she just says, "Congrats on your little bump."
On your little bump. Blake wasn't having it and kind of said, "Well, congrats on your little bump." And it seems like Blake is being pretty rude. You know, like you look at it and it's like, Blake, maybe you need to
I don't think
apologize.
there's any defending that, because I think there's two, and for someone who was pregnant and who got a lot of people commenting on my body, when you walk around and you have a big, obviously pregnant belly, not just like, you know, some weight or anything like that. It's an obvious baby in there. A lot of people want to say congratulations. A lot of people want to ask you questions about it, and they feel, you know, like other mothers feel connected to you because they've kind of been through that, and it's this whole thing. And this woman who clearly was not pregnant, and she kind of released a statement saying that she actually cannot get pregnant, that was like triggering for her, for someone to, you know, kind of throw that back in her face. Yeah, so I don't think there's any defending. I think Blake Lively was rude. She definitely needs to apologize.
I mean, she definitely needs to apologize, but like, I don't know, just like to have been in your shoes, but I did get a front row seat to you being pregnant, and it is shocking how many people, especially middle-aged men, who even if they know, you can tell they mean well, but like everyone commented on your body, everyone, about your size. Oh my God, like you're hiding it well, and everyone means well. You can tell they mean well. There's like this awkwardness of feeling the need to comment on how Natalie's body was changing as her pregnancy went along. And I could imagine how that could get frustrating and annoying. Maybe she caught Blake on a bad day. It doesn't make Blake a bad person because Blake had a response that maybe she regrets, or maybe a response that she might need to apologize for when she's 8 months pregnant. To me, that doesn't define who Blake Lively is.
It's also probably frustrating if she's there to talk about Emily in Paris or whatever show they were.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
and she's bringing up her bump, and like you said, she was probably fed up. I think a lot of the interviews that I've seen with Blake Lively where she comes across as rude, maybe the interviewers aren't really asking the best questions. Like, we can't put all of the blame on her. Like, she probably gets so many questions and people coming up to her, and she's probably fed up. And if it's not a great question, obviously she might have a sarcastic response.
But I think it was like two back, and it was before the interview had even started.
Sure.
She, as soon as she sits down, she's just like, "Oh, congrats on your bump. You know, all right, let's get started."
Oh.
And then her first official question was about the wardrobe in a Woody Allen.
It was like
film?
a 1920s piece.
Which that's, I mean, the wardrobe is very important. I think Blake Lively's also very well known for her fashion. Hello, she's been wearing all florals and this and that, you know, and for the, you know, like she's been very much leaning into her fashion. And so I think for her to get offended that someone asks about her wardrobe is a little bit bizarre.
I think Blake clearly needs to apologize. Like, yeah, she was kind of a jerk. I just, to me, I like Amanda perfectly stated, Blake having a reputation of maybe being a jerk, or maybe she's just not as good as her husband at delivering sarcastic, passive-aggressive jokes, you know, that like Ryan Reynolds is, and it really lands with him. Or maybe that's the double standard that society has with women, where like men can joke about that shit, but when women do it, she's just being a bitch. You know, I don't know. But like, all I know is that like the internet is trying to go back and find every little moment that Blake Lively was rude as a justification as to why of whose side to take when the entire cast has unfollowed Justin Baldoni. And what has Justin Baldoni done?
Refusing to do any press with him.
Refusing to do press with him. And then what has Justin done? He's hired the same PR crisis team that Johnny Depp hired during the Amber Heard case. And again, I get it. If you're Justin Baldoni, do you want to hire the best PR team, crisis PR team if you're in a crisis? But like who? I didn't know he was in a crisis, maybe.
To my knowledge, it's Blake that everyone
seems like she's in a crisis. So like, why is he hiring the crisis? And this PR team, it's my understanding, regardless of whatever you think of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, our take was like that maybe they're just both kind of bad people. But like this PR team eviscerated Amber Heard online. It was like an all-out assault on her character. Like there was the court that we watched the trial, right? The trial was filmed. It was on TV. We all watched it. We covered it. And then there was the court of public opinion in which Johnny Depp's team and PR crisis team just eviscerated Amber Heard.
You love that word this episode.
Eviscerated?
Yeah. You've said it 6 times.
Ruin, try to go after. And again, like that doesn't, if you read Justin Baldoni's content and follow his work, that you would never think that Justin Baldoni would hire the same crisis PR team that Johnny Depp hired. You could, whatever you think of Amber Heard, like it doesn't mean that Johnny Depp is a good guy, especially a guy who is respectful and courteous towards women. Maybe Blake is a jerk. Maybe she needs to apologize. But before you jump on the Justin Baldoni is a saint, I just think maybe we should be careful before we start crowning Justin the winner. Or maybe they're both jerks. I don't know.
I just think either way, I'm not a fan of either. My take on it is just like watching people get so much joy in the downfall of other people. It's sickening at this point. I'm just like tired of hearing about it. Like it's all over my TikTok. Everybody's got a take on people who they've never met. And it's just like, whatever happened, they obviously don't want us to know because they didn't release it, or no actor or no person on set has come out and said what actually happened. So again, it's like, it's sad that now we've taken it to like character assassination. And that's just like the normal dialogue that's happening all over the internet, regardless if you like Blake or if you like Justin, whatever. It's like the idea that you need to attack the other side and be like, no, they're both shitty people. Okay, we are all possible or capable of being shitty people.
Yeah.
But it's like to take joy and try to get views and try to become something based off of ripping down people you know nothing about. I'm like, it's just kind of sad that that's where our society is.
It seems like a lot of people online are taking advantage of the opportunity that Blake, someone who might remind people of a girl who wouldn't be friends with you in high school, is taking this opportunity to try to put Blake Lively in her place because, again, she reminds you of someone you didn't like back in the day. And that's all it seems to be. And like people are talking about like Blake Lively of like, oh, her and Ryan Reynolds are out of touch. I never like looked at Blake Lively and thought of her as like, you know why she's famous? Because she's super relatable. No, she's aspirational. She's a billionaire. She's a rich, famous celebrity who, for my whole knowing of Blake Lively, she's always been a rich, famous person. Now, again, you could be like, well, I don't aspire to be like Blake Lively. Good for you. Well, a lot of people do, And yes, Blake Lively has made mistakes, and maybe Blake Lively needs to educate herself. And clearly, again, her strategy around marketing this movie seems to be a huge epic fail, and maybe she needs to address that. But that does not address why these people have distanced themselves from Justin Baldoni. And I think people need to start asking the right questions about that. And why is Justin hiring a crisis PR team, the same crisis PR team that Johnny Depp hired?
Because it's like, if we remember during the Johnny Depp and Amber trial that Johnny hired this crisis PR team, there were so many videos and stuff that came out from years prior that resurfaced. And I don't know if that was fans digging up or if that was this crisis PR team, but it seems
like it's his PR team.
It's happening again. And I think Blake Lively is guilty of being a bitch. I'm guilty of being a bitch. Nick is too. Sierra is too. Like everyone is guilty of being a bitch.
Well, speak for yourself.
I know I am.
Like at sometimes we all have a bad moment, and like I think Blake Lively has been a bitch in some of her interviews. I think her response to fans can sometimes be a little rude and condescending, but like that does not justify everybody not wanting anything to do with Justin Baldoni. I think there's a deeper issue. None of us will probably ever know because it seems like no one's interested in talking about it. And I think it'll just continue. The speculation will just continue. And no
Well,
one will show.
Or it just dies.
I was texting someone who knows Blake, and I gave my honest opinion. What I heard was, I don't think she can speak on it. Because now when anything comes out, everyone's just like, oh, that's Blake's PR. It's funny. It's like everyone's saying, oh, that's Blake's PR team they're just rolling their eyes. If it seems like it's coming from Blake's camp, she's almost lost all her credibility in a sense, because it just seems like a tit for tat situation. What I heard was other people are going to have to come forward about Justin, because I don't know if Blake can anymore.
It was also sad because we've all loved Blake Lively up until this point, and I don't think she's changed that much. It's just now people are looking at her through a different lens, which isn't fair.
Yeah. Then again, maybe she needs, she's not without fault in this situation about some of her behavior. And that's one of those things, like, as someone who, like, I say this all the time on my show, like, if I'm not thinking about it, if I'm not paying attention, my resting gaze is often aloof in my head, like, and so if you don't know me and you see me at a party, or out in public, and I'm thinking about whatever, and you walk up to me and I don't notice you, your opinion of me might be like, oh, that Nick, well, boy, he thinks he's all that, or what a jerk. He didn't even pay attention to me. I said hi to him and I don't even think he acknowledged me. Like, I've made that mistake. And as an adult, I've had to, I go about my life not trying to, like, worry about what every single stranger in this world thinks about me. But at the same time, if I don't want people to think I'm rude or a jerk, I have to, like, work on that. I have to, like, every once in a while think, you know what? If I want to give a good impression, I have to be mindful of how I come across. So if Blake wants to change the narrative about how she is in interviews and things like that, she might have to make an adjustment. But that doesn't mean she is a terrible person. That doesn't mean she is at fault here. And yeah, it doesn't mean she's the problematic one. It just might mean she has some things that she needs to work on.
Yeah, she needs to be more demure, more mindful.
Yeah.
Cutesy.
I think she has cutesy covered.
And I trust jerks a lot more than people who are unwilling to ever in a public space ever
Claim fault
or just say
the wrong thing.
Say anything other than surface level fucking talking points. Yeah, I just the guy who wrote Man Enough would have said, I could direct this, but I think a woman should.
I think it's always a red flag when nobody has friends. Like, or if somebody doesn't have
Okay.
If somebody doesn't have friends. Like,
so real, though.
Wait, who doesn't have friends?
Justin Baldoni.
Well, in this scenario,
like, there's usually a reason why.
No one wants to fuck with this guy.
Oh, you're saying because everyone unfollowed him and no one wants to like, depress with them. Like, you think, that is true.
And then the rest of the internet is saying, is trying to compare that to be like, well, his cast from Gossip Girl and they're following him, but they're not following Blake. To me, unfollowing someone after a work situation is different than, like, there's a lot of people I don't follow that I realize I don't follow. There's people I follow that I'm not huge super fans of, but I'm not that petty at times to, like, unfollow every single person. I don't know, like, the internet is really taking liberties on deciding how to read certain interactions with people.
I'm like, that just tells me that we're just, like, losing the mark, because I'm just like, we're trying to find anything else to talk about to the point. That's why I said we're talking about it ad nauseum, because it's just like, oh, well, we've got one development. Justin Baldoni followed by Chase Crawford. And it's like, what the?
Yeah, it's like people have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
And we need to stop looking at who's liking what photo.
Cancel
and
someone too.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
I just ask, why does Justin Baldoni need to hire the same crisis PR team as Johnny Depp? I just think that's a very important question.
I feel
people
like
seem
that
to be
crisis
ignoring.
PR team should have been like, Justin, I don't know if we're the people for you. As a crisis PR team and your image, knowing who we worked for, I don't think we're the right people for you.
Except that his crisis PR team is like, here's what we do.
No, I know that. But, like, if they're such a good PR team, you would think that for the man, Justin Baldoni, who is, like, known as being, like, such a woman ally, they would be like, hey, we worked for Johnny Depp last.
They're the crisis.
Shouldn't.
But I don't think the crisis. Yeah, I think
they just want money.
I think they just want the money. But I do think Justin, the guy who wrote the book Man Enough, who talks about being the ultra ally that he wants to present to be, would look at what their playbook is and how they go about conducting their business and think, you know what, I may be going through a crisis, but that's not how I want to go about it. I'm not down for an online takedown of a woman just because she's made some mistakes and maybe didn't answer an interview is questioned when she was 8 months pregnant in the way that a lot of people would.
It's kind of showing some similarities in the book. Obviously not to that extreme, but like, why is he taking down this woman when the whole movie was about like woman empowerment and owning your own decision? Like the crisis PR team should be bringing awareness to DV rather than destroying a woman's reputation.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You know who does have a lot of friends?
Who?
Joan the Golden Bachelorette.
Well, of course she does. Are you kidding?
Did you see her DMs are flooded with dick pics?
That is scary.
And people that want to buy the shoes she wore on the Golden Bachelorette.
Oh dear God.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Some creepy men. Did
Well-
any of these men get on the show?
Could you
We'll have to
imagine?
see.
She's like, wait a second. I've seen you before.
I mean, Joan's giving honest. Joan's giving, I don't really care about how many Instagram followers I get.
I mean, I guess, but she's also like, I think I would probably say the same if I was getting a lot of unsolicited dick pics. I'd be like, listen,
It's good to
guys.
keep it real, babe. But I just think a lot of bachelorettes are afraid to keep it real because of, online criticism.
I'm sorry, but like, what a jump scare to open your DMs to a bunch of dick pics. Like
I
that.
don't know what it's like to be you ladies, but like I hear the
They
guys are
come up
gross.
blurred sometimes.
Oh,
so you can like slowly unblur it.
You've gotten that? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been
Not
sent
many,
a dick
but-
pic, but I've been
Like a
sent
slow reveal?
Yeah.
I know that they can blur images if you're not following them or
Right,
something
yeah.
like that. I've gotten like sugar baby requests, but I've never been sent a dick pic, and please don't.
It does
Yeah.
say it does say a lot though. She had to go back on reality TV to find love. So men sending dick pics to not
I don't
secure
know
her.
if
Well,
that
she didn't
would ever
have
work.
to. Let's not
Yeah.
say that anyone who goes on these shows has to go on these shows to
No.
find love.
But he's saying
like,
that
people-
her DMs are filled with guys, and yet
And the guys that
know.
are sending dick pics think that's like the thing, Like they're like, that's gonna win her over.
I don't.
She's the golden
she's gonna see my
Bachelorette.
dick, and she's gonna
I-
have to date me.
I don't think men send dick pics thinking that's what women want to see. I think
Then
there
why do
are-
they send them?
yeah.
Because they're gross. I think there are men out there who
No,
get
that's-
off on the idea that they're sending a picture of their dick to whoever, and it turns them on to know
Ew.
that Joan or anyone else is looking at their dick.
It's fucking
Interesting.
disgusting. They
Justin?
probably whenever she
My fellow guy in the room, am I probably accurate about how?
Well, I've never sent a girl a dick pic. So
And I'm not speaking for you and I, but
Yeah.
men in general.
another
like,
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just assumed that it was because guys are like more with like visuals. They get turned on by like seeing a naked body, where like you can put a dick in front of me and I'm not like, oh my God, gotta have sex. But I feel like if you put a naked body in front of a man, typically they'll be like, let's go.
I think men aren't, I think a lot of women will say things like, why would you send it to me? I don't want to see that. What I'm saying is I think men know that. I don't think
I
they
think
care.
he thinks it's a gift to
I
you.
think
He's like,
they
look at how great my
Yeah.
dick is.
Yeah.
I'm turned on just
They-
looking at my own dick.
They
You
enjoy
get to see it
showing
too.
their dick. It's not that they're not like, ooh, I wonder what she's gonna think. They're like, I want to show you my dick. That's why men do it.
It's got to be a shot to their ego though if somebody responds and is like, ew. Like,
I don't even think they're going that far.
Just a thumbs down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or she blocks them.
gross.
Yeah. But thank you, Joan, for keeping it real.
I'm upset she didn't pursue the foot fetish opportunity though. It seems like that could have been a good
Selling
career
her
choice.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
her
a new
kids
wardrobe.
did not support that.
Listen, it's like easy money, people.
Somebody wanted my here, take them. I gotta pay
How much money have you
rent.
made off your feet, babe?
Listen, I was down bad in college and definitely needed some money and definitely sold a couple feet pics.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Can you give us like an average
Yeah, like-
revenue?
Thank you.
$100 for barefoot, $200 for in a high heel.
Oh wow.
And I was making bank, let me tell you.
God.
Did they just come in your DMs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So you had a rate. You had enough like requests to like have a standard.
Oh, well, once the first person paid 100, I was like, well, I'm not going to go lower than this, like, and that was just me, and it was someone that I had gone to like high school with. So I kind of knew them and like, it was kind of like a joke back and forth. And then I was like, yeah, $100, like for like and they were like, okay. And then I got a notification. I was like, $100. And I was like, oh my God.
The joke wasn't a joke.
I was like, wait, so the gold mine is men with foot fetishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, take
They
notes.
seem to be generous.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Wait, the
Crazy.
Cordell Cheez-Its
Oh, that he got a box?
just got announced.
It just
It just got
happened.
released today. Yeah, he announced last night that he was gonna release the Cheez-Its announcement.
That's dope. He's on the box of Cheez-Its.
That's cool as fuck.
That's
That's
like
cool
the
as
new
fuck.
Wheaties.
I was gonna say,
No,
I was
yeah.
gonna say that.
Hell yeah.
Dude, Love Island has
Damn.
just exploded.
Yeah, let me go back.
Like,
Do you,
what
fe-
did
do you
Dan do?
feel screwed over?
No, honestly, I don't know if I'd be able to handle all of this. I think now that I've grown and like kind of understand this world a little bit more, it would be easier to go in and come out how they have. But I was overwhelmed with what it was.
What if they did a Love Island All Stars US?
Oh, I tell everyone I would go back no matter what. It's like summer camp. You get to flirt and lay in the sun all day. There's just no kayaking. It's literally my favorite thing ever. I want to go.
There's
and
just no kayaking.
They feed you.
Crazy.
It's great.
They feed you.
They tell you what to like.
You don't
need
even
a
have to know what
sandwich?
time of day
Yeah.
it is.
What?
Can I get you a sandwich or something?
Well, I could always eat. But
What is going on in the Iowa State Fair?
This goes viral every single year. They have an Iowa State Fair husband calling contest.
What does that mean?
So basically, people come on the stage and then they show their best version of calling their husband to the room, essentially.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'll bring up the video so you can see it.
Mom, I need you! Mom!
This is the mom one.
Backward somersault with a splits.
Mom, I really want a corn dog. The corn dog's getting close now. Fine, I'll ask Papa. You know he's made of money. Mom, can we please go to Little Hands on the Farm? I know I'm too old and I know it's kind of boring, but please.
Just re-up my birth control.
Oh,
they should have Janae just.
Do we have
sing
where's the
Kenny.
where's the wife one?
That scares me. It's
Like if River does that, I'm
Honestly,
gonna
just
be like,
piss
shut the
me
fuck
off.
up.
yeah, right?
Here you
The one that's just like,
Morning, everyone. Well,
Oh my God, I love the setup.
Risty, darling, calling. It's your wife. It's time to come in the house for dinner. So stop, collaborate, and listen. It's your wife and she needs your attention. Dinner is up on the table, so get your butt in it right now.
Okay, so these are just like made up calls.
Oh,
These
yeah,
are
I
like-
thought-
I thought people were gonna be like, "This is how I call my husband."
Well,
and
that's
be like,
the
"Frank, get the fucking side."
that's the point of it. That's the point of it. But it's like a contest, and all people are performing to like.
Okay,
Whatever.
I want to see what people actually say.
Well, it raises the question: how do you guys call each other to the room?
It's like, hey, Nick, it's time to let the video games go. No, I think you've played long enough. Like, turn that fucking game off. Like, whatever. I don't play video games, but like,
Yeah,
I imagine
what?
that's what.
He
What?
asked how we do it, and you started
I
on
don't
video
know.
games.
Just like,
He was performing.
He was
Yeah, thank
he was
you.
literally performing.
Competing.
I was just speculating how it might go down.
Interesting.
We don't yell.
oh.
No, like if you're in the bedroom and I'm outside, like, and you need something, I don't know.
We say, babe,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're just like
honey,
we would all lose.
Nick,
eh.
Nick.
And I'm usually like, what, baby, the ears, whatever, and I run, sprint
Oh my God.
to her.
I feel like I'm like
No,
the
sometimes I'm like,
seagulls.
oh my God, is he dead out there? Because
He
I'll
doesn't
get no
respond.
response. Yeah. I'm like, I got to go check on him. He's probably laid out on the ground. And then he's just scrolling on Packer Twitter. And I'm like, oh, so that's why you didn't hear me.
Like, who's practicing today?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the seagulls from Finding Nemo. It's just babe,
Yeah.
babe,
My,
babe,
my.
and then he'll finally come. What?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to, like, in the middle of the night when I'd wake up, I'd just stand at my mom's door and go,
Yes. And then she wakes up.
yeah.
It's so messed up.
But I didn't want to, like, say it too loud because I didn't want to, like, scare her. I was like,
10 times more terrifying.
it
It's
is.
my sleep paralysis demon?
Yeah.
No, it's my child.
And then you say mom in public, and everybody turns around, and you're like, oh, not that one. The other one.
Sorry, she's over there. Yeah.
Brooklyn. We were on the streets of Brooklyn. And we walked past a Brooklyn and Star, and we looked at their entire new lineup of sheets and bathrobes. And boy, then we went online and we bought some more Brooklyn, and that's what happened. You can also get yourself some Brooklyn, and it is truly incredible. Make sure that you are sleeping on the softest, most luxurious sheets in the world at a remarkably reasonable price.
Our favorite is the Luxe Sateen. It's what we have. All of our sheets are in that material. It is so soft, silky soft. It just has this like cooling effect, It's the best. They also have satin pillowcases, which If you're not sleeping on a satin pillowcase, what are you doing? Their towels also are so thick and plush, and it's just exactly what you need when you get out of the shower to just wrap up in a Brooklinen towel. I don't think we can say any more amazing things about Brooklinen. They've been tested and awarded by experts, including Good Housekeeping, GQ, Wirecutter, and more. And who wouldn't want to bring home an award winner?
And listen, if you've never tried Brooklinen, well, good news is you can buy it in bundles. Instead of buying everything individually, you can purchase a bundle which includes a core sheet set, extra pillowcases, and a duvet cover, which will save you a ton than buying individually.
You can also choose to mix and match from a variety of colors and patterns to fit your particular style.
They really are the eighth wonder of the world, as I always say. They're incredibly soft sheets. They're luxurious towels and robes. Their loungewear is incredibly soft. Everything that they're doing is incredible. So get yourself some Brooklinen today. Start and end your summer days with the reviving comfort of Brooklinen. Visit in-store or online at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. And get yourself 15% off your first order. Again, that's brooklinen.com. And get yourself 15% off your first order.
There's a lot of decisions you have to make when you have a baby. And the one that I feel the most comfortable and safe making is using Huggies for our daughter, River. I always tell Nick that when River's crying, she's trying to tell us something. And that's the case with most babies. They express it through cries. And so we've turned to Huggies. The new Huggies Skin Essentials are here. A brand new dermatologist-approved line of diapers, wipes, and pull-ups training pants that are all designed with baby's sensitive skin in mind.
Their wipes are so thick and pH balanced to help maintain healthy skin. Their wipes have 0 harsh ingredients for a great, gentle clean.
The Skin Essential Diapers features the Skin Protect Liner, which is what helps take care of the ick and stick that can cause rash. They have this liner built in their diapers.
The whole diaper helps protect against the top 2 causes of rash by managing moisture and running mess. The liner gives you the barrier to help absorb moisture and lock away runny mess from baby skin. Pull-Up Skin Essentials has your big kid covered too with a training pant that is ultra soft and breathable to help protect sensitive skin through potty training. Learn more at Huggies.com.
Once again, head to Huggies.com to learn more. Nutrafol is something I will take for the rest of my life. I will continue to rave about it. It's one of the best products, I think, on the market for hair thinning. If you don't know what Nutrafol is, it is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, fast growing hair with less shedding. I actually just put my mom onto it. She started taking it. I took it before I got pregnant and my hair was in the best state it has ever possibly been in my life. And then I got pregnant and now I'm on their postpartum supplement. And it's just something I feel like has made such a drastic change in my hair. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women's Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months. And with Nutrafol, building a hair growth routine is simple. You just purchase online, no prescription needed, free shipping and automated deliveries ensure you'll never miss a day. You'll see results in 3 to 6 months. Consistency is key. So that is just one thing that I will say.
Get results you can run your fingers through for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code VIALL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALL. Again, that's Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALL. Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALL.
Nick, do you know what the term Demure is?
I do.
Sierra said it earlier, so it's going viral right now.
I know, but
it came to my attention. It's been around for a while.
I just learned this also. To my attention.
I am alarmed that this is a new word for the Gen Zers out there. Did you know that demure was a word?
No, but I don't know a lot of words to begin with.
Well, I don't know a lot of words either, and I knew the word demure.
What about Gen Alpha?
Jennifer Alpha?
Love her. Does she know anything about demure?
Well, how would you define demure, Nick?
Soft, angelic. I would say more, gentle.
Can you give it to us in a sentence?
She was very demure.
Boring.
Yeah,
Can you give us a paragraph?
What is the opposite?
Blake
of
Lively
demure?
was not very demure in that interview.
Not very mindful.
She's not very mindful in that interview with that
Wasn't very
reporter.
cutesy either.
Yeah.
Demurtsy.
Demure, yeah. It's usually a term to use to describe a lady.
Okay.
And one that's more softer, gentler, polite.
Quiet, modest, unassuming, reserved nature.
There you go.
There you go. That's pretty good.
Not me.
When
What's the opposite?
when a straight man is demure around straight women, it's often considered an ick.
Or a gentleman.
No.
Interesting.
Well,
I feel like
no.
now-
Modest, unassuming, reserved nature is definitely would not be an ick.
Be like, oh, he's mysterious. It's giving
Yeah.
Rob.
No,
Oh.
yeah.
Listen, and with our interview with Rob, you will notice. Listen, we were pulling.
we were pulling with Rob.
So he wasn't very demure.
He was very demure.
Too
Okay, too
demure.
He was
demure.
very
Too demure.
Okay.
Too mindful, too demurtsy, too all of
He
it.
opened up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did, but he's definitely like the women being in the villa. What were they saying when they're like, you just like,
Oh, he's an onion.
yeah, but I think it was Sydney was saying something to him in Casa, and I don't know. She's just like, the way that you like don't say anything, it makes me so nervous. And like, definitely, because I was like, okay, perfect. So that's cool.
On to the next.
Yeah.
Rob is an introverted guy who he's gone his whole life with people telling him, asking him why he doesn't smile.
He does remind me a lot of you in that aspect. Just in like, no, just in like right? Like I
see
feel like y'all
people
share a lot of
people are like,
characteristics. I feel like y'all share a lot of just to like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be the loudest guy in the room. You're like fine with just going to a party and like chilling in the corner.
and not smiling.
You don't.
Yes, Rob is comfortable with being alone in a public setting. And that makes other people uncomfortable to witness, but it doesn't make Rob uncomfortable. And then the people will then have an opinion of Rob based off of their discomfort of being around someone who's comfortable with sitting in silence in a crowded room.
I think that shows a huge level of confidence
Totally. Yeah.
in him.
Well, that's why it makes other people uncomfortable
Right.
because he's not doing it,
He
you know,
just-
anything about
yeah.
it. But like, again, whether it's Blake Lively being a jerk or Rob being quiet, I am prone to. We live in a society that we reward extroverts and award people who present as polite and say the right things. We love fucking surface level shit in our society. We live in a society, as long as people like are nice to us, quote unquote nice to us, then we immediately think they're a good person. It's just like politicians are nice all the time, you know, to your face.
Obama declined to take a selfie with me, and I didn't think that was very nice, but also I understood. So
Not very
I don't know,
demure.
it was
anyways.
not very politician of him to decline a
Um,
selfie.
I
but
do
what
want
are
to
you
see Rob, Lala, and Sheena in a room. I feel like something would happen.
Wait, so are they joining the Valley?
Allegedly. So they're filming more scenes. That's not confirmed that they're on the cast full time.
So they're just friends of show currently.
Some sort of it, yeah. Like they're
Okay.
because last season they weren't friends of, but they were in the show.
Well, these are
Yeah.
professionals. Lala and Sheena are not the type of reality TV stars who are just going to show up for fun to film a scene. These are working reality TV stars, professionals. So, like, there's going to be a limit to how much they're going to show up without getting a
Yeah.
paycheck.
Does this mean that there might not be any more Vanderpump?
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
what I
Definitely-
was thinking.
Definitely.
At least for a year or
It's a
something,
big
maybe.
sign.
Well, because weren't they supposed to start filming, like according to Sheena back in the day, like in August? And-
Originally, it was there's no plan, and then it became later in the fall, and now it's they're on the Valley. Yeah,
Interesting.
so
I talked to a producer of Vanderpump a couple months ago. What I heard was nothing was decided. So
Okay.
there was no but they were hoping to pick back up in the fall once Ariana was done with all her stuff, but also preparing for the possibility that Ariana would not return.
and she's back on Chicago.
Sure. But it's also
Just
not
for the
fall.
month, I
We're still
think.
definitely
Okay.
in summer.
Yeah.
I'm not positive.
Her brother
Yeah.
is also,
An idiot.
yeah.
He's watching too much Blow,
It's a,
the movie,
it's a lot of weed.
featuring
He-
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Ariana Madix's brother Jeremy. He was arrested in his home in California, but it was on February 16th, which I'm confused as to why it took him this long to arrest him.
Well, he was detained at the airport, I believe, with like suitcases full of marijuana.
With his friend.
60
yeah.
pounds or something, right?
They discovered that 64 bags belonged to
Oh.
Jeremy, weighing a total of about 76 pounds.
Mm.
Meanwhile,
Of
his
weed.
friend of weed.
You know how much weed that is?
That's a lot.
so much weed.
To just
His-
bring through TSA.
That's
Like what?
crazy.
Like flour, literally flour.
Yeah.
70 pounds of flour. That's a lot of dense flours.
He was going from Orlando
smell.
to Germany. So I wonder if he was like, I don't know how long he was going to be in Germany for, but fuck, it's like he's
That's not a bright boy.
but also transporting across country lines
Yeah.
with
That's
drugs.
crazy.
I've seen a lot of
International,
documentaries
yeah.
about that.
And his friend had 31 bags in his possession, weighing about 37 pounds.
what were they?
He's been charged with felony trafficking in marijuana, which, according to Florida law, carries a potential sentence of up to 30 years in prison and a $200,000 fine. The judge set Jeremy's bail at $80,000, and he has now been released, although he was ordered to surrender his passport.
Like, why would you just not FedEx it?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't know.
It's illegal. It's illegal, but like, there's other methods, no, than taking it on a plane through TSA.
Like that.
Also, just like, I can only assume this is some sort of business idea that him and his friend had.
It has to be combined. It's 113 pounds of weed.
So it's like,
it's got to be like, let's go to Germany.
Friends in Germany who really would love our weed,
California weed,
and they're like, oh, we should bring it to them.
This is definitely an attic high idea.
Yeah,
they just got done watching the movie Blow, starring Johnny Depp.
We can do that.
I'm with Deb though. Like, what was the plan?
Yeah,
like what was the plan once you got through to TSA?
International TSA. That's even scary. Going through customs and declaring 100 pounds of weed.
I just don't think how they would think they could get away with it.
I want to know how they had it stored. Was it just like packed into their carry-on?
It was in like vacuum sealed bags in their backpack,
like drug dealers.
Yeah.
So they went through TSA.
So it wasn't even in like a Doritos bag. Like they didn't even try to hide it.
They have, you know, X-ray vision technology.
Yeah. I heard they can see if you have poop in you.
Oh, probably.
in the thing?
That's what I think. I saw it on TikTok, so it's obviously true.
It's obviously true. No, of course. Everything on TikTok is 100% true.
They're like, don't worry, we're TSA pre-check.
Yeah, they're like, we don't have to take our shoes off. It'll be fine.
I saw somewhere that they thought that if you fly from one place where it's legal to the other, then that still counts. But even then, what I'm looking up is it's just saying that like it's illegal to fly with no matter what.
Yeah, regardless of the state that you're in, marijuana is still considered a Scheduled 1 narcotic, which is the same, I believe, as like cocaine and heroin and meth.
I believe it's if you have medical reasons and it's under 1 gram, you can transport over.
I don't know. There might be, some
letter from your doctor.
Whatever. And I think in most cases, for example, if you were to show up to an airport and have some marijuana on your persons, if it's a small amount, they're not going to care because it is socially acceptable and legal in most states. But when you show up with suitcases full, of 70 some pounds of this product, that's a completely different scenario and story. Then you have the intent
to distribute.
I also just think this is a great moment to remind you that just because you're siblings with someone, they're not a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask, has Ariana been has she?
She hasn't commented, and he said prior that he's not in talking with Ariana, on a podcast before. Yeah,
they're not on speaking terms.
I saw an article that they haven't spoken in a couple months.
I mean, like I have, as you all know, 10 siblings. It's a pretty broad spectrum of personalities, belief systems, political beliefs, et cetera, et cetera. Like just because you're brothers or sisters with someone or siblings, like we'll be like, oh, can you believe so-and-so sibling did this, or they vote for this person, or they believe in this, as if it's like a direct reflection of that person. It's like they're completely two different people. They might have completely two different beliefs, or they might have two completely different moral compasses. Like they just happen to be related. They might not even like each other, And so we always like to identify someone's siblings as like, oh, well, if they're brother and sister, then they're very connected or things like that, which often is furthest from the case.
You have your own brain. Mm-hmm. Even conjoined twins have their own brains.
True.
And sometimes when one person becomes super famous, family members tend to get super fucking weird.
Yeah.
Maybe. And it seems like Ariana's brother does hang around with Tom Sandoval a lot still.
Well, he's been charged with felony trafficking in marijuana, which according to Florida law carries a potential sentence of up to 30 years in prison and a $200,000 fine. The judge set Jeremy's bail at $80,000, and he has now been released, although he was ordered to surrender his passport. So he cannot leave the country, and he owes a lot of money, and he's looking up to facing 30 years.
And he did it.
It's crazy.
For nothing that you can deny.
Yeah.
Like, so didn't know that was in there.
Like you hope for a reduced sentence?
My friend gave me this suitcase.
Yeah, someone left it and I picked it up. It's not mine at all, I promise.
What does a pound of marijuana go for in Germany, Justin? I'm just trying to figure out just rough estimate of like what he risked his entire life for.
Yeah, a couple of bratwursts.
$10,000 or something.
I'm sure it was.
There's no way that's like somewhere on Google.
Just curious what.
Could you imagine?
I want to know their thought process.
Could you imagine they like get warrants to check his computer or phone, and they find this type of like Google searches of like how much can you make?
The difference between if as long as Sarah doesn't plan on having 70 pounds of marijuana at the airport, I think she just can go ahead and Google it.
No. I'm saying imagine if he did.
No, I know. Yeah. But the difference between the random person like searching something on the internet and the actual criminal who's like making the bomb.
I will say in Germany, it's legal to have 25 grams, nearly 1 ounce of marijuana for recreational purposes.
Nearly.
So he's way over that.
Well, so they weren't even inventing a new business over there.
That's crazy.
Confused.
That's crazy.
Well, and I'm also like, you guys can like travel by train anywhere. Like they could just go to Amsterdam, hit up a coffee shop, and go home. Like I don't know that it was necessary to bring a bunch of weed over there on your own. Like on your own. I don't understand the thought process unless you're just selling weed.
I hope he goes out soon and answers a lot of questions about what his thought process was. I also think we need to talk about Molly May and Tommy Fury. Because this breakup, did we see it coming?
No. Well, like, yes and no.
Unless you are a reality TV relationship skeptic, where you just assume that all relationships that start on reality TV are eventually going to end, then I don't think you saw it coming.
Well, no. I mean, there's been several like videos of him out in public with like women touching him, which was like, I remember there was one of him in a club he was with like Chris Brown or someone.
Yep.
I don't know. And
He was
some
with
girl,
Chris Brown?
yeah,
Yeah.
and some girl was like grabbing his face like this, and it was like, whoa, what's going on there? And I think that kind of brought up and then
Yeah.
got swept under the rug. And
I think you know with Chris Brown.
He's a party guy. He's a fighter, boxer. His brother's
Yeah.
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury. So, I mean, he's in that shadow. And then Molly May has become such a sensation in the UK. She is like the go-to it girl. And she's very like, stay home. She has
Raise their baby.
She's the only person I think could sue somebody for copying her beige aesthetic because she is the queen
yeah.
of just like interior decorating, just everything. So it's like she has a very clean cut, put together persona. Tommy and her seem like a perfect couple. But exactly what you were saying, that the footage that's been leaked and whatnot is him out partying, kind of doing the exact opposite of what they present to the world as like their union.
Yeah, she posted a very kind of cryptic message that suggested there was infidelity. Well, or people took as her suggesting
That.
as infidelity. And then the response from his camp was weird that he's like hiring lawyers to go after who? Is Molly?
Well, so his rep said is Tommy's horrified by the false allegations of cheating being circulated by the media. They're looking into legal action against the false claims.
Against the internet?
Like
Yeah.
the UK tabloids, whoever that may be, yeah.
The Sun released an article saying that he was seen with a blonde girl and they were like all over each other and he had no like
yeah,
wasn't-
good luck trying to
Silence the internet.
silence the internet. And then two, like now we're getting into a whole like, well, does cheating mean you fuck someone or does cheating mean that you spent all night like hanging around a bunch of bottle service girls and letting them do lap dances on you and texting them after you go home, hey, I hope to run into you tomorrow, and which maybe in his mind isn't cheating, but in hers is.
I also
you know?
heard he had been saying a lot that he was going away for boxing training camps. And so I don't know if maybe that was a lie and he was partying instead. I have no idea.
It's always alarming to me when you have a couple and they have, like you were saying, just completely different ways of life. Like
yeah.
Nick and I, where were we? We were like, oh my God, could you imagine if we were like, let's go to the club tonight? Like that's just so not us and it has never been us. And so the fact that like Molly May is such just like stay-at-home mom, loves to just be in her house, and he is so obsessed with partying and clubbing and going out and drinking and this and that. It's like, how have they ever worked?
No, it's not even if we were to go out. It would be like when we went to New York and it was a Saturday night and you put River to bed and I'm like, all right, well, I'm about to go out with my friends. And then I showed up at 4 a.m, fucking plastered.
That's crazy.
And I did that most of the time.
From what I know about their relationship, which is slim to none, I feel like this was the healthiest choice for Molly May and their daughter Bambi. And I hope that they can live a peaceful.
She'll be okay regardless. And so will he, to be honest. It is sad though, because I'm like, I think everybody just loved them so much. And they were like the real like Love Island couple that's like still together, just had a baby. We all cried when we saw the proposal. Like, I don't think anybody really saw it coming, but I'm also such a Instagram sleuth where I'm like, I follow her. So I was like, wait, there hasn't been a picture of Tommy. And then all of a sudden it's like very forced. So I think people saw it coming, but not to the extent that the videos are coming out at this point. Yeah. So
Speaking of her beige aesthetic, what toys does she buy Bambi? Because all the toys I find are like the most like loudest, brightest color, Like, I would love to see Bambi's room and just see all the toys she plays with. I'm sure they're just like beige blocks.
It's like
and,
monochromatic.
River likes colors.
yeah, she does.
Before we get to Aaron and Rob, Deb, have you met any of the current cast this season?
Yes, I met Janae, Kenny, and Kendall. I was in Dallas while they were there and we all went out.
How was that?
It was so much fun. They're all so sweet.
How was Kendall's vibe?
Kendall was great. He showed up a little later. We went to dinner and then one club and he showed up and he was just having a grand old time.
Were
Was
you
this-
there during
When he like kicked out the bottle service girl?
No.
That was
wasn't this.
Vegas.
Yeah.
That was Vegas. Okay.
Yeah, no, I
Because
wasn't there.
Nicole does address that.
But then I
This
saw
Wednesday.
that they rekindled and were like out partying together.
Yes, Nicole actually, she breaks down that whole
Yeah.
situation.
No, but they were great. I mean, I've never in my life seen fans like that other than like when Leonardo DiCaprio goes to hide, you know? Like it was crazy. Just everybody obsessed. We went to the bathroom, Janae and I, and they were waiting outside the stall. I was like, this is wild.
Not the stall. Go outside.
No, I will say I'm like I've watched US at least for the last 3-4 years, and I'm like I have never seen. This is the equivalent of like how it takes off in the UK, where all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's like they haven't even left the villa yet, already hit 1 million, already all of the brand deals, all the things, and I was like, Leah just hit 3 million, I believe.
Yeah.
Wild. She's been out of the villa for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Like that's actually insane.
Yeah.
I was like,
my
that's even
God.
giving like old like Bachelor
Yeah.
like when the girls would come on and by the end of it, it would be like they're up there. But I'm like, this is astronomical. I mean, people are chasing them down like they're the freaking Beatles.
Yeah. From what I saw, they are handling it extremely well, though. They're so sweet to fans. They are just kind of taking it day by day, doing what they can.
Did Kendall give off the vibe that he's having relationship problems?
No, but I would like he gave off the vibe that he was in a relationship.
Okay.
So like I didn't see him flirting with anybody. Like even like around me, it wasn't any flirty vibes or anything. So I assume they were still together.
As
Other
far
than
as
what
we know, they still are.
I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Well, you should
I'm with
listen to the
you.
episode of Going
Yeah,
Deeper.
okay.
Nicole really does
She struggles.
explains herself. I really respect Nicole's approach because with how crazy the fans are and how demanding the fans are
Mhm.
of answers, for Nicole to try to, as best she can, disappear a little bit so that she can try to sift through her own feelings about how she feels about Kendall and this relationship without the influence from fans is at least an admirable attempt. And she
For
seems like that's
sure.
what she's attempting to do. And she seems to be really struggling with her past and past relationships, how Kendall's been behaving around her, then the expectations of fans in the show, and all of these things combined. I think she's really trying to make the right decision for her and for Kendall, and really struggling with what the best thing is to do. It was a very fascinating episode.
I will say I see some of this tea that occurred during the Love Island reunion day, and I feel like we can go ahead and debunk the first one, which was filming was supposed to begin at 6 p.m. but didn't start until 11 p.m. due to drama between Aaron and Kaylor. That's just not true at
That's
all.
not true.
They started at 6 p.m. I have a text from Kaylor at midnight saying that they just got done. So if the reunion's only an hour long, then that sucks.
I think it was a very long night. It was very intense, we heard, and that was confirmed. Kaylor definitely unleashed, as I'm sure a lot of you saw. We don't know exactly what was aired, but
Even that interview of her on the street being like, I'm done, I'm fed up, Aaron and I are no longer together. That I was like, if that's out on the street, I'm so curious how
yeah,
it was in there.
I get it from Kaylor's standpoint. Like, she really tried to have Aaron's back. Aaron, whether he meant to or not, and, you'll get to hear it from Aaron's mouth in a moment. The internet really was hard on Kaylor about how forgiving she was of Aaron. So it was almost like Kaylor needed to kind of do this for herself,
Mhm.
which I totally get. And, we'll see if Aaron does too in a moment.
There's a couple other rumors that are alleged going around. One was Nicole told fans her and Kendall are still together after being completely MIA. We'll address that one.
Well, they are together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's out now.
Then there's Daniela posted a TikTok crying about suicide prevention after filming.
That's real because I saw the video.
And then
Yeah.
Sierra called her NYC trip traumatizing. So there's a lot of things going around that people are assuming that the reunion is like volatile.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was very volatile.
Yeah.
Even the panel with Remy that they did, she asked everyone to describe it in one word, and they said dramatic,
hmm
crazy, just
And Leah wasn't on that panel, right? Like she's originally supposed to be or announced for the
Correct.
panel and then wasn't actually there.
Yeah.
Leah.
And I think it was Rob said, he really struggled. He couldn't get a word out, and I think, like we said, Rob is not the guy to talk over people. So he said he really just kind of sat there because no one would give him the space to talk or answer any questions. So I feel like that's kind of
We
yeah.
gave him the space.
Well, Leah
did.
also posted on her TikTok with like a caption being like, "They don't get any more from me" or something like that. Like she was not feeling well when she flew in for the reunion. I don't know what happened at the reunion, but I guess she was like, after the panel, she was like, "No, I'm not showing up for that."
I think Leah is done with Love Island and done talking about it and done. I think she just is going to move on with her life.
I think a lot of them want to be at this point. We talk about this show every week, and it's just the fandom with these people, I think, has gone to levels that are unhealthy, are extreme. It's like these fans have an expectation of what they demand from these people. And again, like, talk about it with your friends, talk about it on a podcast, stay out of their DMs, stay out of their comments, stop
I don't
saying
think they've
evil
even
shit.
gotten to sleep yet. I remember when we came off, we were fried. I think I slept for like 2 weeks. And so coming off, having all of this fame, all of a sudden having to do press for weeks, go to the reunion, I think they're just totally exhausted and want to
Yeah.
break from everything, which is totally understandable.
Mhm.
But then the fans are expecting so much of them and they're trying to deliver, trying to comment, make content. It's a lot.
How far did you go on your season?
I got third. So start to
Yeah.
finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was an OG.
Yeah.
How did it affect your mental health?
I didn't really say this going into Love Island, but I used to work in TV production. I used to be a PA. So I kind of understood a lot of the thinking. And so going into it, I kind of knew the way things worked in sense of just like long days, blah, blah, blah. So for me, it didn't really affect my mental health much. I also did it when I was 26. So I think I was a little older than these people. And I don't know. I also was lucky enough that I think the public had a pretty positive perception of me. So I didn't really have to deal with a lot of the hate. I did get a little bit after games, but yeah, it could be my Zoloft too.
Thank God. Like that should be working.
I love my Zoloft. I'm like, oh wait, is it working?
This season has taken on a whole life of its own. I am curious how this carries over into season 7.
I think this cast was incredible. Casting did an amazing job. Each person is their own character. So I think season 7 is going to be hard to top. But because there's so many new viewers, I think it will still do well.
And this is why they regulate their alcohol consumption on the show. It's like 2 drink maximum, I'm pretty positive. But it's like because of things like this where I'm like, they're not only having to relive like everything that's happened to them while in the villa, but coming out, it's like they won't have the ability to blame, alcohol or whatever being the cause of like why a certain situation went down, because that's happened in the past. And then obviously it ended very poorly.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a lot of drunk people.
Yeah, like the first
Love
2
Island.
seasons, they were smoking cigarettes. Like of UK,
Yeah,
they were
UK.
smoking cigarettes. They were like drinking alcohol, getting into fights. It was very messy. And then people, obviously, with their mental health after the seasons aired, they were like, nope, we're doing an alcohol minimum,
Yeah.
maximum. Yeah.
Damn.
Right?
Which kind of sucks because you have to talk about your feelings all the time. That was the
While
hardest
drinking
part.
a smoothie.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sober and I have to tell you that I love you. I don't have to tell you that, but like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be in tune with my feelings.
There's no
Sober.
liquid courage here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's just therapy with producers or therapy with your peers.
Yeah.
There is another like speculated rumor going around that there's 2 parts or more than 1 part for the reunion. And this is just based off of someone noticed like online that it says
Yeah.
part 1 on
I
reunion
saw that.
that's airing today or last night. So it's like, is there a second part? Is that like right after? Are they going to shoot it later?
That's
Yeah.
why I was like, is that why we
I think
couldn't get the screener? 'Cause-
Everything is shot. I think it was either are we going to have a really long reunion or break it into 2
Yeah.
parts.
break it into 2 parts.
Make it 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us what we want.
I need something to look forward to at night again.
We'll talk about, obviously, the nitty-gritty on Thursday's episode of Reality Recap once we get to watch whatever parts of the reunion they share. It is about time to get to Aaron and Rob. I hope that you enjoy this episode, and I hope that you have an open heart when you listen to it. And then do not forget that tomorrow's episode of Going Deeper is with Nicole, and it's explosive. Explosive? Yeah. It's insightful.
Eviscerating.
I was going to say, was anybody eviscerated?
I think we could appreciate Nicole's honesty and transparency about her relationship with Kendall. And I think we can maybe discuss Kendall's behavior, whether we agree or disagree with it, while also not necessarily needing to try to eviscerate Kendall. Like, again, I think we sometimes forget when we watch these shows that we also too make mistakes, and we also have to apologize, and we have lied, we have manipulated, we have talked down to people, we have hurt people we claim to care about, all these things. We have had to, really look at ourselves and work on ourselves. The people aren't all good and all evil. There's layers. They're this human beings, and we appreciate Nicole's willingness to be vulnerable and share her truth on this show. But just make sure that you handle your commentary and your response to it appropriately. All right. Well. Oh, by the way, Deb, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So
This
much
was so
fun.
fun.
Please come back and be
I
our
would
unofficial Love Island
Oh my gosh,
correspondent.
stop.
Where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Deb Chubb on Instagram and TikTok if you want.
Pop off.
She's also cousins with all of the football players in the
I
astronaut.
sure am.
and the dog at UGA.
I'm not actually, but we're
Deb
unofficial.
Chubb's a great name.
Deb Chubb is a great name.
It's a really good name.
Thanks.
All right. Aaron and Rob. First leaf. We all love wine. Don't we love wine? Sarah, you love wine.
I love wine.
Natalie, do you love wine?
Now that I am done breastfeeding, I have been popping off
on
first.
that
I've been
wine.
popping off on First Leaf because they send a personalized selection of wines from all over the world, handpicked just for me, and so it feels really special and personalized.
Another great thing about First Leaf It is how much they can tailor your membership to your needs. You can choose between 6 or 12 bottles, decide how many reds or whites you want, and select a shipping window that works for your schedule. And if you got a barbecue, happy hour, or family dinner, you can opt for First Leaf's fine wine upgrade to get a really special bottle that's sure to impress. I know most of you, if you're anything like us, we're typically known for picking the bottles of wine based off the labels, not knowing much more about the wines and what they may be paired with or things like that. Well, with First Leaf, you can also not only get the wines that you want and love, you can try new wines that you never think to buy. Also learn a little bit more about the wines that you're drinking so you can sound like a genius and a very sophisticated person in front of your friends. Drink a lot of wine, have some fun, drink a variety, have it delivered right to your door. No longer do you have to be lugging heavy bottles of wine to and from the grocery store. Let the good people at First Leaf do the heavy lifting and have them delivered right to your door. Get wines to sip and share all summer long with First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL to sign up and get your first 6 hand-packed bottles for just $44.95. That's a steal.
That's one bottle at the grocery store.
Oh my God, it's crazy. That's tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. Again, tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. Most people would do anything for their pets. Pets bring us so much happiness. Today's episode is sponsored by the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. That's the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like you to help your pet get the care they may need.
The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program has been around for over 18 years, and they've helped more than 600,000 pets during that time. They allow you to customize your plan, helping ensure that your pet's plan is as unique as they are, because vet bills can really add up, especially when you're least expecting it. It's simple. Use their app to submit a claim, and you'll receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/VIALL.
That's aspcapetinsurance.com/VIALL. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/VIALL. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Now that we all know Skims, I feel like every time I compliment Natalie's outfit, she's always wearing Skims. Their materials are amazing. I'm wearing Skims right now. Their underwear is fantastic.
So am I. I wear Skims every single day. Their panties, their bras, everything. It just feels like you're wearing nothing, which is the best thing, I think, for bras and panties, but they still keep it tight. They keep it in. I also wore their pajamas last night, the Skims Soft Lounge collection. It is the best. It's the softest fabric that has officially replaced all of my old lounge sets. It's loungewear that you can wear out of the house, and everyone I know is wearing it, and it's as good as it looks.
I just got my onesie in the mail. I feel so sexy, not gonna lie, walking around the house in that. Also, running my errands makes it so super freaking easy because not only am I tucked in, contained, but all I have to do is throw on a little sweater, out running errands, back to the couch.
If you're looking for better and deeper sleep, you've got to check out the Skims Soft Lounge Sleep Set. If you haven't gotten on the matching pajama set train, this is your sign.
Shop the Skims Soft Lounge collection at skims.com. Now available in sizes extra, extra small to 4X. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know we sent you after you place your order. Select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Hey, Aaron.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Been better?
Been better.
Okay.
Just a bit stressed. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like the reunion was a tough go for you.
Yeah, it was a bit of a manslaughter, but I get it. I understand. So.
Did you expect to walk into that, or were you high hopes?
I completely expected it. Like, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to go down. So yeah, and I kind of like anticipated it, but I also understood like where everyone was coming from, and like I deserved it at the end of the day. Like I wasn't in a situation where it's just like caught off guard. Like I know what I did, and yeah, so I kind of expected it.
When did you and Kayla officially break up? We saw like a week ago or something. She started posting cryptic stuff on TikTok.
Yeah. So it was on the 7th that we broke up. Yeah, basically it.
And was it like right after she watched that, like everything?
So I got to a point where I was like, after the show obviously like happened, I was like, we were like trying to work things through and stuff, and just got to a point where like I realized that I'm just gonna
You're all right.
That's cool. Like it got to a point where I just realized that she was just not happy anymore, and like I just wanted to remove myself from the situation. So yeah, so I just did, and that was it.
You seem, I mean, obviously you're upset about it.
It's just hard, isn't it?
Is it more like losing what you had with Kayla, or is it just like everyone kind of coming down on you pretty hard?
When you say like everyone, like, I mean, like when I first came out of it, like I was very like, first like 2 or 3 days was like dealing with the hate, like I think very, very well. Like I didn't really care as long as like Kayla was okay. But then it just got to a point where I just like realized that she was getting like less okay with the situation. And then as soon as like she started getting affected, I just started getting affected from it all. So yeah, that's kind of like where it took the toll. So yeah. Wow, this is,
I'm sorry, man.
It's cool.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot. I mean, coming from, I feel like you maybe recovered a little bit from post show, and then you had a little bit of a break, and then the reunion, and then
yeah.
So I'm sure it's a lot.
We always said like on the inside of the show, we thought that was going to be the hard part, and coming off the show was going to be like more difficult. But I guess I didn't realize the amount of people that had watched it, and you know, like everyone watched the show, so everyone was like fully supporting like Kayla, which I, same as me, like I completely understand, like her friends and her family and like all the online stuff. So I understand why we got to the point that we were, because it was super difficult for her to go through that all and deal with all these like different emotions and stuff, and me at the same time. And so I get it. But from my point of view, like I wasn't so much bothered about like the outside world as long as like she was okay. But like I said, like as it just kind of progressed along, and the more difficult it got for her, the more difficult it then like, in turn like became for me. So it just, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough situation you're both in. And I've said this to your other peers that I've gotten to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like the experience you guys go through is incredibly unique compared to people who go on The Bachelor or Love is Blind or all the other kind of competition love shows. I mean, they each have their own kind of very difficult experience, but with Love Island essentially being aired in real time,
yeah,
it's got to be such a mind fuck, just because, you know, when I went through a similar experience, I went through that kind of summer camp feel where you bond and everyone's close and it just feels like this really unique experience. And then you get out and you get to decompress from that, you know, because even that is kind of, you bond, but like it is emotional, it is stressful. Your emotions kind of get fucked up a little bit, but then you get to go to your family and your support team and then come down from that. And then it airs months later or whenever it is, which is its own difficult challenge, but you guys came out of it and then the world demanded answers. You know, they wanted to know who you were, you know, why'd you do this, et cetera, et cetera. And then in Kayla's point of view, you know, here she is like wanting to forgive you, and the entire world, I'm assuming it felt like to her, was telling her, you're an idiot, you're an idiot. I mean, we had, and just full disclosure, obviously, like we were fans with of both of you, but like as someone who was more like, hey, listen, like I just don't know if he's your guy.
Yeah.
He seems like a good guy, just maybe not your guy. And I felt like she was kind of getting pressure from everyone.
Yeah.
And it, like you said, it was almost impossible for her to almost like look past it. And
Yeah.
it's just a tough situation.
There's no way. Like, I don't think anyone in that situation could, like, I think she dealt with it very, very well. And I don't think anyone in that situation coming out off of a show like that could ever do anything else but how like she's reacted at the end of the day. And I think she's probably reacted better than most people. I don't think I would have been able to react it like that, and I don't think many of the other people would have. So she stuck in there for like a good while, and she was like strong, and she like got through it, and it got to a point where we were kind of both supporting each other, but then like we were both hurting in different ways, and it just became like a situation where it's like, this is like not good for either of us.
I know you've said, you know, I get it. You know, like I understand the criticism I've gotten. But I mean, Kaylor was really tough on you at the reunion. You've done other interviews where people have been like, holy shit, like this guy's really coming in on you. I get you're trying to like hold yourself accountable, but do you feel like in any way, like either Kaylor at the reunion or just people in general have been too hard on you? Like, I know you've recognized your mistake, but
I think I'm super proud of Kaylor for like coming at the reunion the way that she did. I feel like she needed to, like she had to react the way that she did. And I wanted her to as well. Like, as weird as it sounds, like I wanted her to come like down on me, because I feel like on the show, she dealt with it differently, but you know, she took a step back for a couple of days, and then we kind of had a conversation. Whereas coming off the show, people didn't reciprocate that in the best light possible. So I think she needed to go through that process, and just for herself to be able to heal, and for her to be able to come to the understanding that like I did mess up and I did screw up, and like that's how she had to deal with it. So I'm like super proud of the fact that she dealt with it like that.
Do you almost feel like the reunion was like Kaylor's opportunity to kind of handle it the same way Serena did in the villa, where like Cordell, just like you in Casa, made his mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. And Serena came back and just lit a fucking fire under his ass and just kind of got it out. And then Cordell kind of owned up to his mistake. And it was almost like maybe the reunion was Kaylor's opportunity to kind of stand up for herself. Because I feel like that's where she got a lot of criticism, where it was like, you know, people called her a pushover, and people like, oh, you're stupid for taking him back and shit like that. And it was almost like her opportunity for redemption.
Yeah. Me and like Kaylor are like similar in like a lot of ways. Like I would never, if I was ever like upset with someone, I'd always just want to take a beat, take a step back, and then have like a discussion with it like later on once I've like gathered my thoughts. And that's what she did. Obviously that doesn't make great TV. Like it doesn't. That's just like from your guys' perspective, like looking in, it just looks like she let me off straight away. She had a conversation, but on the inside, you know, we had a couple of days where we just didn't speak at all, and like she just needed her space and her time. And I think there's a conversation where she's like, I don't want space and time. It's like, but you needed the space and time to like gather your thoughts, so we could have that conversation. And then coming on the outside world, obviously the way that the online world has like seen her, it's like felt like then she kind of like needed to come back and kind of do that redemption and have that sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but basically just her like standing up for herself.
Yeah.
So I think the way that she dealt with it was the best way like possible for her, and I'm still like happy with her. I've got nothing against her whatsoever. Like I wish her all the best. I'm like still care for her at the end of the day. So
I mean, probably a little raw to answer this question now, but you know, they always say time heals all wounds, and like I haven't talked to Kaylor since we had a chance to speak with her, but you know, it was clear that she was super into you. You know, really, really liked you. And once, you know, you guys are still going through it, you know, you come out of the villa, you guys deal with the internet, then you have this reunion, you get bombarded, but like there seems to still be a lot of love there despite the hurt. And they always say like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And Kaylor certainly isn't indifferent about you. She's just obviously very upset. Do you think there's a world where like, if there's healing down the road, that you guys might stay in touch or reconnect, or are you think that's healthier to just to move on?
To answer the like question, like truthfully, like I don't know. Like I have no idea like what the future lies. There will probably be a day that once Kayla's like moved past it and she's healed from it and she's happy again, and that she'll probably want to reach out and, you know, just have like kind of one like final conversation and just like speak about things. But at the same time, like I don't know. And I don't want to hold her to having to have that conversation either. Like if she wants to, then I'm like open to having that conversation. But equally, like the way that it finished at the reunion, like I'm also like happy with the way that she dealt with it. So I don't have any animosity towards her.
But would you be hopeful for another chance if there was an opportunity? Just from your point of view.
I'm honestly not like right now. I don't think I'm in a situation where I can like answer that question. To be honest,
Okay,
like I don't know.
What did you learn from this whole experience now that the dust is settling?
Just that. Firstly, I need to be like more accountable about my like situations and when they're like I deal with things. Secondly, just to be like, I'm a very person that's like preserved with my feelings and how I feel. I think I'm quite like touchy-feely person in the way that I express myself. And that's kind of like how I show love. But I also think that for other people, just for a reassurance standpoint of view, like I need to be more open. I need to tell people how I feel in that moment, not hold back. And that just comes from like a place from the past where like I've just been like hurt before and I just don't want to go through down that road again. And I don't want to put myself in that situation again. So I think like moving forward, I actually have to realize that no, if I do feel a certain way, I should just say it. Because there's a lot of times on the show where like I felt like saying something, but I just couldn't bring myself to doing it because I didn't want to put myself in that situation where I was going to get hurt again.
Like what do you mean? Like do you remember a time? Like what would you have wanted to say?
I mean, there was a situation even like pre-Casa Amor where we both kind of knew that we wanted to like close things off and we both kind of knew how we felt for each other. But I never came to her and told that. And I think she also feels the same way. Whereas if we would have done that, we would have had a lot healthier relationship, like further along. And I was just stupid for it. I was really stupid for it.
But I mean, obviously, I think the challenge that you guys were in is I think everyone had a different perspective of what Casa Amor meant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because even that, like, I think most people don't fault you for even what happened in Casa Amor. It was more like the difference between how Cordell went about it and how you went about it after Casa Amor, where it was like,
yeah,
he was like, fuck it, man. Like I did X, Y, and Z. And it just seemed like Kaylor kind of you seemed really resistant to wanting to just say it. Do you think that was more a fear of what Kaylor would think of what happened, or was it just more audience's reactions?
I didn't want to hurt her. And in the past, like when I've been cheated on before, like when I like found out that she'd done it, I almost didn't want to know the full story. So she just told me, look, I've slept with this person. And for me, I was just like, I don't want to know anymore. Like that's as simple as that. Just draw the line there. Like I don't know what the place, the time, any location, the fine details, anything like that at all. And my mistake going into it was I should have asked Kayla straight up, like, how much do you want to know from this? And rather I just applied how I would want to deal with things, thinking that that's how she would want to like know. And that's where like I messed up as well. I should have literally just said to her, how much of this do you want to know? And gone from there. Because in the end, it became less about like what's kind of like the actions and more about like the smaller details and stuff that she was hurt by. And then obviously when like movie night came up, she didn't realize how much of like a romantic connection that I had with Daniela, whereas I should have told her absolutely everything from the get-go. But even in that situation, I was just like, as I was speaking to her, she was just hurting so bad. I was just like, my reaction to it was like, I've been in this situation before. I don't want to know anymore. Let's just leave it there. So I should have just said everything to her there and then.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like it's obviously you're going through it right now, and like I can feel your energy, and I don't even know you, and I want to give you a hug. But hopefully, like this will be like just a down, you know, as someone who knows what it's like to be in your shoes and have like the weight of what feels like the world coming down on you and things like that. But it seems like maybe you've learned like a really tough but valuable lesson, just because, like you said, like why people love shows like this is because, well, A, it's fun to watch, but really what they do is they see themselves or they see their exes or they see their partners and you guys, and they kind of compare, you know, their situations to you guys, right? And so when they watch it, you know, it's a very relatable feeling what you just described, to say, well, this is how I would have handled it if I were in that situation. And I just handled it that way because, you know, That's what I would have done. And I didn't realize that the person I was talking to like isn't me, and I should have asked that. Like, it sounds simple in theory, but like often we have to learn through really tough lessons. And so maybe this will just be that tough lesson for you.
Yeah.
I think it's also incredibly human of you to just to react that way. And, I think there's a whole different element because she is going to eventually like watch everything back, and to have everyone around her be like, well, we've already seen this and you haven't, I think was that like added harder element to it. But I think it's incredibly human of you to be like, well, this is how I would have done it. So I just went about it this way, and it might have been the wrong way, but this is all I knew how to do it. I think it's human of you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I just should have been like, I should have just been more expressive with how like, firstly, how I felt. And I should have just spoken a lot more, because we were like in such a good place. Like we were in like a honeymoon like period. Like we just we're having so much fun every single day that when it got to that point where we were just going through this like really difficult time, it's almost like I didn't want to take away what we had before and like replace it with that situation where we were both like, where Kayla was hurting so bad, and in turn then I was hurting because I was hurting her. And yeah, it was very difficult. It was difficult.
I kind of had this thought in theory, as someone who's watched reality TV in a while. So your first time on reality TV was Traitors, right? And you won. Congratulations, by the way. It's a great show. And my first time on reality TV was The Bachelor, right? And so like I didn't know shit when I went on. I was like, okay, let's do this show. It's like this kind of, but every show kind of has their culture in a way. You go in there and it's like right reasons for The Bachelor. You make sure you're there for the right reasons and shit. So even though like, a lot of everyone, listen, you don't go on reality TV unless you like attention. I know people are like, did you do it to be famous? Like everyone who went on the show has an Instagram, and unless you turn off your social media, like, so the whole like, did you do it to be famous is, I think, a kind of a loaded question. Like, but at the same time, even in the Bachelor world, you're there to find love, and that idea is ingrained to you. So like, there's a lot of people who go on The Bachelor first and then go on, like, say, Traitors, right? Like, there's been people go on The Bachelor and go on the celebrity Traitors now. And they have kind of like this PTSD of like, I just want everyone to know that I'm a genuine person, Yeah. We're on Traitors, like Traitors is a game. Traitors is a game about, trying to figure things out. And I was watching this knowing that you're on Traitors thinking like, does Aaron have a different expectation, almost like, not to let you off the hook, but I could see like Kayla being someone who's watched The Bachelor before and watched Love is Blind, come into the show and approach it a little bit more earnestly than someone like you who went on Traitors. And the mentality was, this is kind of a TV show. This is kind of a game. Is there's any accuracy in that or not at all?
I think the Traitors and Love Island are two like very like different. One's a game show, one's a reality TV show. And personally, I think Traitors being a game show is more almost real than Love Island as a reality TV show. There's just there's just two completely different worlds. Like on the Traitors, you get there at 7 a.m. and they go do your thing. And you don't get picked up until later on, unless you have to do like a challenge or anything like that at all. Like you're just living basically. Like they just plonk you in a house and you're just like living with people, and you don't get told to go and have conversations, and you don't get prompted to go and do things, and you're just there. So you're just trying to like connect with people, you're trying to figure things out, and you're just like trying to like work things out essentially. Yeah. So like I think when I went into the Traitors, my mindset was like, I almost had a game plan. I remember I did like wrote these 3 points down, and I was just like, right, that's my game plan. I'm going to go in with that. And then on day 2, it was just like, fucking my ADHD was like, just completely forgot about that. I was just getting emotional, breaking down all the time. One guy, he was like writing stories. He's like, yeah, I've got a 9-page like plan. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I was just doing the best I could in every like in them situations. I wasn't really thinking anything through, which is why I think I got so far, because there was an element of like the Traitors. If you are like trying to play the game and you are trying to figure out who the traitors are and you're not a traitor, you're going to get murdered. Simple as that. So I was just there like a headless chicken, like running around, like going a bit crazy. Going into Love Island, I think that I never, apart from season 5, which I watched in like the house just beforehand over like a period of 3 days, and I didn't really watch it. I just like skimmed through it. I just went in there with the same mindset. Oh, I'm just going to be like open to whatever. I'm just going to take every day as it comes and like just chill, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. But I never anticipated you get pulled in a lot of different ways. And so it felt very difficult. And at the beginning, it felt very much like, I said to Kayla, I was like, we're a team in this. But as it kind of went along, like, not to like bring Rob in next, everyone's like, oh, you're only talking about Rob. But like, Rob was like, for me personally, he was a big support system because I started struggling with the process like very early on. Felt like Rob had a very like similar experience to it. So we like leaned on each other like a lot of the time. Like we supported each other a lot through it. And we bounced like ideas off of each other all the time because we were like, should I do this? Should I not do this? So I never went in there with the expectation of like, okay, I'm going to do this. I just went in there with the expectation of like, I'm just going to take every day as it comes. I'm just going to enjoy the experience and just go along with it. But yeah, I don't really know if that answers your question really.
No, it does.
Kind of does or doesn't. I'm not sure.
Where do you go from here?
Where do I go from here? I'm just going to go back home, just chill with my family, get off social media again and just go back to my old life. Like, that's what I want to do. I think I need that for a few months just to like chill out, just be with my brother.
I feel like we have no interest in, continuing to come down on you. I think the point has been beaten to a pulp. I think like everyone knows what you did. You've owned up to what you've done. Like, I think we're all good there. You seem so defeated. I really hope that like the Aaron that we did see in Love Island, that super bubbly, loud. Like I hope he is still in there. And he comes out. Is he? I mean,
I don't really know. Like honestly, I don't know. I think I just need to go home. That's what I think. Just need to get out of this place. So yeah, hopefully. Shit, I'm sorry.
No, man.
Don't apologize.
I'm sorry. Like, listen, like we talk about these shows all the time, and even for myself, sometimes I can forget like what it's like to be in your shoes. And just to hopefully make you feel a little bit better, like fan is short for fanatic, and like as a big sports fan, I'll watch these games and I'll be like, fuck man, like this, it's like, it's not even personal, in a
No, I
sense
get it.
that,
I
like,
understand.
it's,
I completely get. I understand.
And like we talk about these shows as if we're talking about our favorite sports teams, our favorite characters, and we'll talk about like, I can't believe Aaron did this. I'm like, I don't know who you are when I'm watching the show and shit like that. Or I'm like, I can't believe this person did that, and it's just, these people at the end of the day, like they're all just fans of you.
Yeah. And I get that as well. Like, I understand that. Like, I messed up a lot in there, and like to go back on your point earlier, like people just put themselves in the situations like, oh, I had a similar experience to it, so everyone was like really supportive of like Kayla, and like I deserved like what I got coming out on the outside world, and yeah, I just hope that people after this now they just don't go as hard on Kayla, and they just like leave her alone, and they just are supportive of her.
And you too, man. I think you're entitled to some peace too. Like we've all made mistakes, like everyone, all of us. We've all hurt people we cared about. We've all fucked up. We've all lied. We've all manipulated and things like that. Unfortunately for you, it just was recorded, outside of your control. And like we also know, like not that let you off the hook, but like context sometimes can be lost in TV and things like that. And we're always looking for the most intense situations, and we want to be reactive because it's more fun to watch the drama unfold and things like that. So I know you know that, and I know you don't want to take it personally, but I don't want you to, have this affect you long term, or, like if anything, like you've learned from it, right? Like you've said that over and over, you've seen your mistakes. Just talking to you right now, you've talked about what you wish you would have done differently. And it's like, yeah, I wish you would have done it differently too. You can't go back, but now you can just go forward, and you'll be put in a situation, whether on TV or not on TV, where you're dating someone and you might have to have a tough conversation with them, and you'll hopefully probably do that next time, and even if that tough conversation makes them cry, that you'll know that like, maybe I just need to do this because like not telling them right now, it'll just get worse and worse.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I probably won't ever put anyone in a situation like that ever again. So yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all we can do is learn, man. And it seems like you've matured a lot, even just like sitting with you right now. Like, I think people's biggest frustration was like what you seem to just not want to own anything at the time. And now like you've done nothing but it's like you're trying to make up for all the like, whatever, man. And now you're just really trying to almost apologize. And that's all you can do, man. So try not to beat yourself up.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I think that we're just going to let you go. I really appreciate your time. I know this isn't easy. I really wish you the best.
Thank
And
you.
maybe after you heal, you'll like. Are you like done with TV or just done with TV for now?
I mean, like TV is like a fun thing to do. Like everyone always asks me, like, "Oh, you want to go and be famous?" It's like, no, it's actually really enjoyable. Like, I mean, Love Island, there was a lot of elements that were difficult, but there's a lot of parts of it that were actually very fun as well. And like other TV shows I've done in the past as well, like they are extremely fun things to do. Like they are. You get to do challenges, you get to jump out of helicopters, ride speedboats, do all this like crazy shit, which you would never do in day-to-day life. So I probably haven't finished. I just don't want to do anything for the time being.
All right.
So yeah,
Well,
that's even if anyone have me on anything else, they're probably like, screw this guy.
I can promise you'll get the opportunity. It's just a matter of whether you'll take it. But I wish you nothing but the best. We're obviously big Kaylor fans here, but like we're fans of you too. And like I'm glad that you're able to learn from this experience. And like I promise you, it's all gonna be okay. And I really think that even if you were to care about how the public feels about you, like this is definitely an opportunity because like. For all the people right now who are out there being like, fuck Aaron, fuck this guy, blah, 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 like they've also made mistakes too. And so when we all make mistakes, we also want people to give us grace and we want people to be like, I mean, I'm sorry, So like this is an opportunity and this maybe is the start, going forward of people just being like, okay, he fucking gets it. So, you didn't kill anyone. Crime wasn't committed. Like definitely you fucked up, you hurt someone's feelings and that sucks. But like, you can move on from this. So
yeah, hopefully. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me here as well. So thank you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you taking the time. I know it's not easy, and we definitely wish you the best of luck, buddy.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
All right, take care. Hey, Rob.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great, man.
How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty good.
Cool,
You
cool.
seem very mellow.
I'm sleepy.
Are you?
I'm tired. Yeah.
What'd you do last night?
Nothing really. We had what did we do? I don't remember.
Future?
No, I didn't go to Future.
You didn't go to Future.
I think I went to Pioneers, this little dive bar, played pool,
Cute.
and then I went to bed.
Are you just tired from everything? Is it just
Yeah,
a lot?
I think it's just like very draining here. It's been a lot of things to do, and the reunion was a lot too. So
Well, we know obviously the whole Love Island of all has been draining, and the reunion was just a hot mess for everyone. But I feel like if it's okay with you, I'd love to like not talk about Love Island.
that sounds great.
Great. And I'd love to talk about you because I think you're like the big enigma, of Love Island, and you seem like you keep things close to the vest. Like I was a big fan of you. Like at first. Or I am a big fan of you, not was. So It sounded like
Perfect.
I was, and then you did some shit. But like, you kind of, in a way, reminded me of me when I was watching it. Like, and I don't know if this is accurate about you, but like, I'm more reserved. I'm quiet. And people usually don't think that would be the case for someone who goes on a reality TV show. Like I'm most comfortable when I'm more introverted. I'm in a corner. I like having one-on-one conversations a lot more than I like going in group conversations. And I think at times, maybe because I'm tall or I look a certain way, and people will never assume that maybe I'm just quiet or more reserved. They'll just assume I'm like standoffish or a jerk or things like that. And I feel like you maybe might relate to that as someone who's also quiet, great looking guy, and people will look at you and think like
Yeah.
all these things.
No, 100%. I am definitely like someone that I struggle to like speak in groups. Like it's not that I don't want to or that I'm like shy. It's just, I don't know. I don't like talking over people and I hate being spoken over. And so I find myself in groups just kind of like, I'm way more comfortable just listening and sitting back and not being like
The loudest guy in the room.
Yeah, that's definitely not me. But yeah, I do think that sometimes gives me, I think people read that as like, oh, he just thinks he's better than us, or
Yeah.
oh, he's
yeah.
too cool. But like, I'm just chilling. Like that's just.
I mean, I remember my whole life being like, "You're just like cocky," and I'm just like, "What did I do? I'm literally just standing here." Like you ever have people come up to you at a party and be like, "Why aren't you having any fun?"
Yeah. Smile, Rob.
Smile.
Oh,
I get that all
fucking
the
hate
time.
it. Yeah,
I get that all the time.
I have
Yeah.
a T-shirt I can get you. It says, "I was having fun until you asked me why I wasn't."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bummer that like I guess as us introverts like we go out, but like yeah, I just got that sense from you, and the more I got to watch you on the show, I think a lot of people were caught off guard that you actually, despite everyone being like, Kendall gives great advice, that was like, I don't know. But you actually gave some pretty good advice, which I think a lot of people were caught off guard. Are you usually the friend who people go to in those situations?
Yeah, I would say with my close friends, a lot of them rely on me for advice. I think I have like a little bit more of I have a different perspective than most people. I try to be really open-minded and see all sides of things. Like a lot of my friends, like they want like to be shot straight. Like I'm not always going to I'm never going to tell them what they want to hear if I know that's not what they need. That's something I always try to do.
Yeah.
Because I try to keep an objective view when someone's like talking to me about their problems. Because I know their side of it, but you also have to understand like that's their perception of it. And there's like so many other variables that they're probably not even thinking about.
Have you always been that way, or did you is that kind of what you want from other people, so you give it to them?
I think I've always been that way.
Yeah.
Honestly. I've always been like an observer. I'm very, very observant.
Yeah.
And I enjoy just like sitting back and taking in like a room or like people and trying to understand how they work and like what makes their gears turn.
Yeah. I relate to that a lot. And I think sometimes us observers, I feel like, have you ever been told by people, like people think that you're judging them when you're looking at them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just looking at you.
Yeah.
But I think we don't like I feel like I have had to learn from people's perception of like, they see my eyes kind of looking at them, like observing them. And like, it's like, I'm not meaning to do in a judgmental way. I'm just like naturally curious. And like, I've never been the person who like worries about being the life of the party, you know, or making sure that I'm involved. I've always been comfortable being an outsider, but like, that's the flip side of that is like, I feel like I've unfortunately made people uncomfortable just by doing nothing but looking at them. But at the same time, I also was like been the friend who gives people advice because I'll just be straight with them. And I found myself to be a little bit more, I guess, like introspective, you know? And so like, it's like I always tell people I'm the friend that you need, but not always the friend that you want, you know? And I feel like you relate to that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Sure. I was, what did you do? Like, did you play sports in high school?
I played football and baseball.
Yeah. Were you good?
I mean, I went to small school.
Okay.
I was okay.
Okay. Were you always like a jock, or what other like passions did you have?
No, like, dude, like I'm like a jack of all
Snakes.
trades. I've tried everything. I love, like, my favorite thing to do is create. Like, I love making stuff.
Okay.
That's like my favorite thing to do.
Did you do drama in high school?
No.
Do you wish? I only say that because like I was a jock in high school, but like I wish I would have done drama as well. Like I still love sports, and I feel like you have this like creative, artistic side.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but like, did Rob do drama in high school?
I was in a play.
Okay.
I was in my senior play. One of my friends that did theater, like all throughout high school, I was like, dude, try out for the baseball team. And he's like, okay, only if you like try. I was like, okay, I'll try out for the play. He's like, it's called an audition. I was like, okay. And I went, and I didn't know it was Beauty and the Beast, and I didn't know like you had to like sing a song. And I read some lines and like, all right, what song are you singing? I was like, oh, I gotta sing a song. And I remember I sang Mercy by Shawn Mendes. Because it was like what was on the radio at the time, and I didn't even know the words. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I did that. And then I was they cast me as Gaston.
Oh my gosh.
The guy, yeah.
Wow.
Do you have a good voice?
I mean, it's all right. I
Okay.
can carry a 10.
Better than mine. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a terrible one.
How did the Nessa Barrett music video come about?
Well, she just asked me to do it.
She DM'd you and was
Yeah.
like, get in this music video?
I was like, okay.
It was hot. Good.
There was some extreme chemistry.
That was really fun. She's a great girl.
You guys
Yeah.
remain friends?
Yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. All right.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just looking at you.
Okay.
But did that like you say it like, yeah, we're friends, but like did that feel surreal, like, or to do that, or were you comfortable in that situation?
I was very comfortable, honestly. I was surprised at like how well we got along, just like in between, just like talking and stuff. It just was like pretty relaxed. I felt like it was pretty, like for how intense of a music video it was. Like it wasn't ever. I never felt uncomfortable.
Was that your first music video?
No,
It wasn't.
I did one for a friend a while ago.
Okay. What friend? Famous?
Not really. No,
What was
it's
the
just
name
her
of it?
music video. Her name's Ellie.
I feel like a lot of people watching the show, I've seen stuff online being like, Rob's a producer plant, or like this, they're trying to figure you out. What did you make of those comments? And just to confirm, are you a producer plant?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I didn't think
Not
you
a Prince.
were. I know you weren't.
Um,
Where do you get your fashion sense?
I go for like the homeless chic. That's kind of what I'm going for.
I mean, like you have great fashion sense.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think
do.
it's so funny when people tell me that because my family, my whole life, is just giving me shit for
Because you
like.
grew up in Alabama.
Yeah.
I grew up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like people need a name for guys who like stripes in those places of the world. But like, yeah, listen, people love to like.
I
shit
like your
on me.
boots.
Oh,
I meant to
thanks.
say that earlier.
I appreciate it. But like now they got me into them. But you seem like you at least make an effort. You know, whether people like it or dislike it, you try.
I mean, I have things that I like. I'm like,
Yeah.
I like that. Does it work? I don't know, but I'm gonna wear it anyway. Like it's kind of.
It seems like you don't really care if it works or not.
Yeah.
But it all comes from you. It's not like you got a stylist
No.
before the show.
No, and comfort is a huge part of like my fashion. Like I love comfortable clothes, like baggy stuff like that. Stuff like, and I also like clothes that at any point, if I need to, I can like catch snake.
Yes, of course.
Like-
I have to be prepared at all times.
No, like I'm actually serious though. Like I don't like wearing shoes that don't have like good grip that I can't like run in.
You have to run to catch a snake
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
to like
Sometimes.
chase him.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're pretty quick.
No, I just didn't realize that you were like running after him. I guess I don't.
Pretty much all my shoes have an expiration date of like if it's like the season of snakes or like I'm like around the environment in the habitat. It's like 3 months, and eventually there will be a body of water that a snake goes in. And I'm like, I
Gotta
have
get
to
in there.
go. Yeah, and then my shoes just get soaked in the swamp or whatever it is.
So where did this like obsession with snakes come from?
I wouldn't call it an obsession. It's fascination.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's just I've just always loved them. Like I caught my first snake when I was 4, but I love all animals really. But I think snakes are like really cool. I mean, they're gorgeous, and I think they're extremely like misunderstood by people. I think people think they're like out to get you. It's just like sharks, you know.
As someone
like,
who's afraid of snakes, like help me get over my fear. Like why am I misjudging snakes?
they just. Why are you scared of them? Let me ask you
I
that.
don't know, just a phobia, I guess. Like
mean-
I've never really held one, but I just for whatever reason they've just. I remember I was in high school and like my science teacher like walked in holding like this pretty big fucking snake, and I literally jumped up and ran to the back of the room. I don't know. I just always been afraid of them. Spiders, no problem. I can let spiders crawl over me. Just
I mean, there's nothing to be scared of. Like, it's not gonna do anything. It's just chilling.
Besides, like bite you,
Well, yeah,
strangle
but like,
you.
I mean, like a snake's not gonna just
kill
like
you.
come and bite you. Like it's just gonna sit there or slither away. I mean, unless it's like you're in like Southeast Asia and there's like a giant reticulated python might try to eat you, but like that we're in New York City. Like you're fine.
no, I'm not like walking around like make sure there's no fucking snakes. But if you brought one out, you know, like
yeah.
I might get a squeal out of me. But where'd you go? Did you go to college?
I went to North Alabama, University of North Alabama.
Where did you study?
Photography.
Oh,
yeah.
Cute.
What made you do that?
Well, I started out in film. I wanted to be a film director.
Okay.
And then to be completely honest, just the people in my department, like to do like film, it's a team effort. And I just was like, these people are that I have found it hard to like find people that actually wanted to like make good stuff and like that didn't want to just do the assignment, like they wanted to make something like art. So I switched to photography because that's like a solo thing. You can do it all by yourself.
What's next for you?
What's next?
Yeah, like what do you want to do with your
pretty-
newfound fame? You got a huge platform. You know, there's a lot of things you could do. What do you want to do?
No idea.
Any ideas?
I mean, like,
Try acting. You could do
No,
hosting.
I
you know.
mean,
Are you
yeah.
almost afraid to like say it is because of how people are with reality TV
No, not
stars?
at all. Like genuinely, like I know I wouldn't do anything like that. Like I'm not gonna do anything where I'm like committed to like being in a big city for a long time. If I did anything with TV, like I would be maybe interested in doing like my own show, like maybe like catching like snakes or like taking like I thought about like maybe like a show where like I take like celebrities and influencers like into the jungle,
the wild or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
catching
yeah.
snakes and stuff. I think that would be cool. But even then, like I don't know, like I don't know what I want, to be completely honest.
In life or just for your career?
For my career,
Okay.
I think, yeah. In life, I know what I want.
What's that?
To be happy.
Okay. What makes you happy?
Freedom, like being able to do what I love, the ability to travel and experience new things.
Where does love fit in the equation for you?
Love,
Yeah.
like romantic love.
Sure. I mean, I guess someone who like you were a hot commodity on the island.
Yeah.
You had some great makeouts, but like you didn't vibe with anyone, and that's or
Yeah.
just like on a romantic level.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of fans were like, oh, like, yeah, again, that's I think where the producer plant stuff came in. But at the same time, I know what it's like to like show up, like being the Bachelor. Like they're like, oh, we brought 30 women, and you're like, great, you know. And it's just like they were all wonderful, just like not for me, you know. Like,
Yeah.
but people have an expectation that like all these beautiful people someone should fall in love with somebody.
Yeah.
So like I don't fault you that like maybe like your person just wasn't there.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like statistically, it's insane that you're like, okay, even like, all right, there's 100 girls. I got them all.
Yeah.
One of them is the one. Like what? That the odds of that happening are insane to me. Like the fact that people could be even like upset about that realistically is crazy to me. But I mean, at the same time though, like, I don't know. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm too picky.
It does love fall into that. What's next for you?
Like, are you asking like what I'm looking for? Like,
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like what
that?
are your personality traits that you're drawn to? You know, what makes you what's the happiest you've been in relationships? Like
I think I really enjoy when someone's passionate about something and like they're chasing their dreams and someone that just wants to experience life like together.
Mhm.
You know, because I think that's like the key in like growing together is like having experiences and changing together because you're going to change. You're going to grow apart, you're going to grow together. And I think if you can find someone that's interested in that and some of the same things, that's going to happen. And that's like really important to me. And you don't necessarily have to have the same interests, but you have to be like willing to like make sacrifices.
So if they're like anti-snakes,
I mean, it's not a deal breaker.
it's not a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker. It's
Okay.
just like there's got to be, you know, something. But I really like creative women. But they don't have to be. They can have their own thing. But I do like it when like they've got that thing that they talk about and they get that spark in their eye and it's like, oh, like that's awesome. Like I want to help you with that.
Mhm.
You know?
I feel like you need a strong personality, like
Someone who knows who they are.
Nick and I compliment each other because he's very quiet and laid back and all of the things he kind of described. And I'm more of the louder, extroverted personality. And so I think we really bring the sides out in each other. And maybe that's
Yeah.
the type of person you need.
Have you had your heart broken before?
I've been heartbroken before, but it was my fault.
What happened?
A series of events, I reckon. But like, I think it started with just like my own personal issues leading to being a terrible boyfriend, leading to resentment, leading to like still loving that person, but like not being who they needed.
What did you learn from that experience?
That no matter what's going on with me, if I meet someone and I feel that way about them again, like I can't let that get in the way of like prioritizing our relationship, no matter like how I'm feeling. Because I was having a hard time, and I think I just kind of like cut her out, and that's like, I mean, once you do that, like it's really hard to get out of that.
Were you having a hard time, like personally, mentally with family stuff, and then you just didn't
Yeah.
Shut down.
relay that?
Kind of shut down. I've got like a bad habit of that, I think. So that's something I really like will be super mindful about in my next relationship.
How do you think you're the most misunderstood?
I don't know. I don't really care, to be completely honest.
No, I get that, and I respect that a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
as someone who also doesn't spend much energy worrying about it, but like, it is nice to feel seen sometimes.
It is. It's really nice
And
when.
it must be frustrating to have to defend yourself over silly things sometimes.
Oh, the thing is, I just don't defend myself. Like, it doesn't matter to me what some random person that doesn't know me thinks about me. Like, does it hurt? Does words hurt? Yeah, they hurt.
Sure.
They'll get to you. They'll get in your head. They'll get you down. But at the end of the day, like they don't know who I am. And there are a lot of people that do, and that's what matters, I think. You know, like the people that are close to me are the opinions that I care about, I guess.
Who are you closest with?
My best friend, my siblings. I've got a lot of really good friends. I've lived a lot of life in my 25 years. I've traveled a lot and I've met a lot of people, and I respect a lot of them.
What was your childhood like?
Unorthodox,
Was it?
I reckon. Yeah, I was homeschooled till high school,
Okay.
and I grew up on a 200-acre farm in a trailer, family of 6, 3 bedrooms. So I was always sharing a bedroom with one of my siblings. We went through like a cycle of like, okay, I hate you, switching to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. I hate you again, switching to the other one. But I pretty much spent all my time outside that I could. Was never materialistic. Never really cared about like things or toys or stuff. Like I was a really hard kid to punish he'd be like, take away his toys. And he's like, all he has is sticks. Like, what are we going to do? Like, it was yeah, I think that's also like how I got to be like, kind of how you're talking about how you are. Like, are you a middle child?
I'm the second oldest of 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but you were probably a background character in your family. Like, do you feel like that?
I was I always joke that I was an only child with 10 siblings. I just kind of did my thing and kind of was like comfortable. Like, I was always very independent. So like, I never really like, well, a lot of my other siblings were like tattling on each other and fighting. I was just kind of doing my own thing.
That's a lot like how I was. I kind of just did my own thing. And I would participate in all their little things they like to do. But yeah, I was very independent. And I never really like, I've always had a trouble with asking for help and like letting people do things for me. Because I think I got used to that at a young age, like just kind of like being in my own little world.
Like letting people take care of you.
Yeah.
How did you end up going to Love Island in the first place? Like just
they just messaged me on Instagram.
Oh, really? Okay. They scouted you.
Are your parents together or
no? They divorced a couple years ago.
Tough situation.
Yes and no. It was something that I think I saw coming a mile away, a bit, observant. But I think some of my other siblings took it a little harder. And my oldest sister has Down syndrome. I think it was hardest for her because like, yeah, it's just not the same. She just doesn't get it as much. She's like, why is dad gone? Blah, blah, blah. But it's been really good for both of them. I think they're in way better places than they would have been if they sit together. So
what did you learn about that experience that you want to take with you for yourself? Like, I don't know when you're going to find love or what that will be, but did you learn anything from your parents, even through divorce, that you thought, maybe if nothing else, a silver lining will be that I'll try to, do something different?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think I learned a lot from my parents and what I don't want in a relationship. But that's their business. I'm not going to air that out.
Understand.
Yeah.
Is that known that one of your sister has Down syndrome? Is that a known thing? Did you ever talk about that on the show?
Yeah, I talked about it with Kaylor because Kaylor volunteers with
What's
autistic kids, and that was something we kind of connected on. But I try not to talk about it too much. But I make these videos. I used to make these videos with her that were really fun.
What did you do with them?
We used to do this. We did a bunch of things, but she loves Vampire Diaries, so we did a little like Vampire Diaries series for a while. We did some High School Musical things, and I took her catching snakes a couple times. And then I made these little like short film music videos with her. Those are my favorite. They're so cute. We just have fun. Bella was also like left out, and I think sometimes we, all right, let's go. We're gonna go for a walk or like do some like random shit.
You team up with her.
Yeah.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
The first time I went skydiving, I didn't jump tandem. You can like take a class. Yeah, it took like a 6-hour class, so I didn't have to be strapped to anyone.
That was the first time.
And that was the first time I ever did it. Yeah, and they were like, "All right, sure you want to like?" Apparently, a lot of people don't do that because you could pass out.
Yeah, I've done it once. I was tandem.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but I definitely would not have gone. So,
yeah,
they literally had to kind of force me out of the plane.
Yeah. I wanted to be able to say I never jumped tandem, but I had to do it. I was working with these guys, Chicky Boyos, and we got a brand deal with Carl's Jr. and we had to do something for him. And so I ate their new burger while skydiving, and I was tandem. But I was like, dang, ruined my streak.
How often do you skydive?
That was the second time.
Okay.
I still ruined it.
Yeah, like what streak do you have?
That would have been my second solo dive if I went by myself. But yeah.
Nallie's my wife. I met her in the DM. She DM'd me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it worked.
I was a nobody.
It worked. Well, that's why I only brought it up because I imagine your DMs are full. You are America's heartthrob, America's heartrob.
Oh my God.
Just made that up.
Cute.
If
you should put that in your bio.
Okay.
You should.
All right.
For anyone listening, I know it sounds like you're a little, maybe not looking for love right now. You're a little reserved. But if someone were to slide into your DMs, like how could someone stand out to you? And if they wanted, not just like a fan who just like wants to meet you and thinks you're hot or like one night stand it, but like if someone was just like, I don't know, I like the guy, I understand him, I want to get to know him, like how would a lady stand out for you?
It's just at this point, like everything's like so crazy, and I've got like a little bit of trust issues. So I think I would just not, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think there's anyone could say over text to me that I'm going to be like,
you'd believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm rocking with that.
Where do your trust issues come
She's
from?
genuine.
She's for real.
That emoji,
Yeah.
she's genuine.
I didn't say, how can someone DM you so you know
She
you're
said,
going to marry him?
not LOL. Like, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's a good question, but I don't know.
Where do your trust issues come from?
I just have a hard time like letting people in. It's something I've been working on for like a long time. But yeah, I think it just comes from being
Have you been burned?
independent. Nah.
Yeah.
You're just a tough nut to crack for no reason.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Are you in therapy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are?
You seem
Good for you.
very like, you kind of know yourself and you know what you want and you, for the most part.
I'm making an effort.
You're trying.
I am trying.
You're trying.
I'm trying.
Well, we got to let you go.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
Was this
great to meet y'all.
better, worse, or exactly what you expected?
Oh, it was better. It was better. Yeah. I thought we were gonna talk about the show. So like,
I mean, I don't know. Like,
I've already talked.
Unless there's something new you wanted to talk about, but I think for someone who is closed off, who like obviously there's you got that shell, and I think people are very fascinated with who the real Rob is, and there's just a lot of ideas and judgments and opinions about you. I just would rather spend the time, actually getting to know you, because like when it comes to reality TV, we just get to know characters. You know, you're siloed into a box of like what people think you should be, or or what the show thinks you should be, and things like that. And as someone who knows what it's like to have people think one thing and be like, it's not me at all. I was more interested in just kind of getting to know you.
I appreciate that.
Well,
we tried to give the fans
hopefully everyone
an
feels like
entryway
Do you
into
think you got like some stuff out of me?
I
We'll
don't
see.
know.
I don't know. Well,
You're definitely you're tough.
I'm
You're
sorry.
tough. It's okay. It's
okay.
not like a bad.
Yeah.
Well.
Well,
It's
I'll ask
bad.
you one more question about that.
Okay.
As someone who is closed off, if someone were to say, well, why go on TV or why go on reality TV if you are someone who doesn't like to open up, what would you say to that?
It was for the plot. Like, I don't know. They asked me to do it.
For the bit.
Like,
Okay.
it sounded fun.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, Rob. Well, we appreciate you.
Yep.
We wish you the best of luck. Do you think your friend Aaron's going to be okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I
think
think
so
it'll be
too.
all right.
I think so too.
I really hope so. I think so too, but I don't want to jinx it.
All right.
Is
Well,
there anything else you need to get off your chest? Any bombs you need to drop? Any tea you need to spill? Any bad bitches you want to shout out?
No.
Perfect. Clip it.
all right. Bye, Rob.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Well, let's all give Aaron a hug. Just metaphoric. I did actually, after we got done recording, just gave him like a good 20-second hug.
They say 20 seconds is the amount that you should hug for that releases the
I really felt for Aaron after.
If someone hugged me for 20 seconds,
you have to hug
I'd
for
be
20
scared.
seconds. It doesn't work if you don't hug for 20 seconds, Deb.
Is it a side hug or like a double
No,
hug?
it's a
Front. Okay.
it's probably the Zoloft.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Going deeper with Nicole. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.